Ba-ba-da-ba. Hey everybody, welcome to Worcestery Council Theater 3000. It's a beautiful Tuesday night here in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I hope that you're drinking craft tea kombucha, our sponsor and your favorite kombucha drink, Worcester's local culture. Try it today and burn down a store if they don't have it.
Right.
Hey Bill.
Hi.
Bill Shainer, everybody.
How's it going?
How we doing today?
I'm just great. Made myself a little espresso hot chocolate drink.
Ooh.
Gonna be cozy in my living room.
Someone's feeling Christmassy.
I'm feeling very Christmassy. Getting in the spirit. Getting in the spirit.
What do you hope that Santa Claus brings you for Christmas?
New life.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Like an extra one, like Zelda?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. If I had one extra life, if I knew I had one gimme, oh my god.
Yeah, it would really change things, huh?
The funniest shit.
Yeah.
Let's bring in do you have something?
Well, I said I would repel that building that the Bravehearts mascot did just without a rope.
I was gonna say I would do it. I would get all set up in the harness, and then I'd go down one floor, and then I just have big scissors, and I'd cut it, and I'd just smile at everybody.
Yeah, whee!
And I would just go, "This is for you, Ed Augustus. This is for you."
Yeah.
Speaking of giving me life, please welcome to our show, our stream tonight, Brendan Melican, everybody. He's here with us once again. Brendan, how are you?
Awesome, brother. How are you?
I'm wonderful. What would you do with one extra life?
Man, I mean, I did like your idea with the rappelling, but I probably would deck the mascot and just take him with me. I'm not a big fan of guys in suits. I just
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You could just jump off.
Yeah, no, what a stupid way to raise money. I saw that happen once in Boston, and it was like the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen in my life. It was Matt Malone, who was a former Secretary of Education. Yeah, and they had him rappelling off the side of a building in Boston. Just dumb. Just dumb.
I mean, it's a fun thing to do. It's just
rappelling is wicked fun. Yeah, but it's not nearly as dangerous as the people standing on the ground think that it is. So I don't know.
Yeah,
not really my jam.
Yeah. If it was like Fear Factor and you had to eat bugs while you were doing it, then I could see it being a good fundraiser. But you know. So fellas, what do we got on the agenda tonight?
We have a whole lot on the agenda tonight. The big thing is the APA funds. The plan to dole out $146 million in federal COVID relief money. The city manager has a whole big plan, and that is definitely going to be the thing that we talk about the most tonight, I would say, without a doubt.
Have you gone through the current draft of where those monies are looking at? Okay.
Yeah, I have gone through the current draft, and it very much reads like everything that didn't make the cut for the capital improvement plan for the past 10 years. Nothing really new, like $13 million or something for a new financial services package of things. I don't know. It's like
all
there's
COVID related.
Yeah. There's a lot of things are very much not COVID related at all.
Well, I mean, they've told us to our faces that they don't care what bucket it comes out of. They're opportunistic people that will do whatever it takes to get money for things that they think will help them politically. So
yeah, and nothing at all in the spirit of really helping the people hardest hit by COVID, which is supposed to be the whole intention of this money. So, it's more of the same. It's more of the same. We should have known when the first money that they spent on this was for
body cameras.
Freaking body cameras, that it was just going to be like, oh, look, free money. We're not going to shift our priorities at all. We're just going to take this free real estate. It's free real estate,
Have you gotten any sense of what other communities in Massachusetts are spending these dollars or targeting them for that might be more inspiring?
Well, other communities have separate advisory boards for allocating this money. I haven't looked around. That's something that I was researching when I was writing about the plan to spend this money on body cameras, because Worcester doesn't really have that. They don't have. There's no oversight. It's just sort of the city manager being like, "Here's the plan," and the city council is probably just going to be like, "I think it's great," but it's still going to take them like 45 minutes to say how great they think it is. And Christian King might move to like cut something, but then it's going to fail 1 to 10 and we'll be on to the next thing. So
yeah,
I know I don't. I should know that though, because I'm probably going to write about this ARPA stuff this week. So
Ooh, here we go. Look at that, guys. We got captions. Travis, I think if you click on the button, there's an option there to make them bigger, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, subtitles.
Size. Go extra large. XXX large. Can you do one more? There's one more. Triple X. The Vin Diesel size of captions. Look at that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Technology.
That's crazy how Facebook can do that, honestly.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's you just
Also
all we had to do was
terrifying.
give them access to all of our data and forever. And they did.
Yeah. And then we'll just enter the metaverse and we'll get married.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
Can we still have a little volume, Trev? I think would be
Appreciate that.
Yeah, full host tonight.
Everyone's showing up for APA.
And, but I just want to say thank you for coming out tonight, and much appreciate the family being here. Dr. Castile was this year's right there. Dr. Castile knows her very well too, and know the work that was done at Plumley Village. Before the presentation, you want to say a few words, Councilor Rivera?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the privilege of not only knowing Ida, but being able to call her friend. Our families have known each other very well. Her dedication to this community was second to none. She was the kind of person that would literally give the shirt off her back. I actually have traveled internationally and did mission work with her. She was part of a team that I had taken out. Saw this woman literally take her shoes off and give them away. She generally her kindness was just completely part of her DNA. And so I'm really honored and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for being able to honor that and honor her, because a lot of times there's so many people like her that are doing this work, and oftentimes it goes unrecognized. So I appreciate this council being able to honor someone who really gave so much of who she was and her life to this community and to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we have a grandson too, right? Edward is with us too. There, so welcome. So I'm just going to read the presentation. For decades, as an outreach worker at the Plumley Village Health Services,
Get right in on that mic,
Lord
Joe.
was an ambassador for health to thousands of patients who visited the center.
He's listening to us.
She was a compassionate and firm voice for health and wellness in the Latino community.
Hey, any missionaries
Ida
in the
was not
chat?
just a translator, but a guide and escort through the maze of the healthcare forms and processes. In short, your mother was nothing less than a force of nature. Thank you for so freely sharing your mother with so many. Ida is a true daughter of Worcester, and it's only right and fitting that you receive our city's highest honor. It's my pleasure to present you the key to the city of Worcester, posthumously in recognition of your mother, Ida's service to the city and to her community. So if you want to come up, we will.
Got the chamber on standby back in the doorway there. Are they looking for some of those ARPA dollars?
Oh, yeah.
APA.
Aber.
Oh, of course. It's all about private-public partnerships.
Mata.
Public-private partnerships. That we love them, folks. What is going on here? Oh, okay.
Whoever's taking that cell phone picture does not have that whole crew in there. You got to zoom out. You got to switch to the fisheye. That's 8 people in this picture. It's too many. Oh no! Oh great.
The key to the city comes to the pot of gold at the center of the Worcester catacombs. Just got to find it.
Yeah. Ed lurking in the background of that photo like a ghoul.
Yeah.
The creepiest photo bomb you ever seen in your life.
Bill, what is Bill
Well, thank you
Coleman
very
have up
much,
tonight?
and much.
Nothing
Just
from
wanna
Bill
thank the family
Coleman.
for coming out tonight, and
Because
thank
he's
you
wearing a
and for all the
fantastic
work that you
blazer.
did
I
for
saw him in the
city
back
of
corner
Worcester.
there.
Thank
It's
you.
I was going to prepare people for it.
Thank you.
I didn't see anything from old Bill Coleman. Let me do a search of his name on the agenda just to make sure. He's just here to hang out. Yeah, he's just nothing
Okay,
from Bill.
we're going
All
to
right.
approve the minutes. All those in favor? Opposed,
just
so
there to hang out.
ordered. Public participation. A person may speak for no more than 2 minutes on any items appearing on the agenda. And we'll take the audience first there. Just your name and city of residence and item number.
Nico's like, back the fuck off
Good
the mic,
evening,
Joe.
Cedric Arnold, city resident, 9.40A. Good evening to this honorable body. I'm here tonight for the Black and African American residents who checked the box on the city census. I voice for every box checker to get $10,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act. I'm here to voice my disgust
I'm here
at
for
the
it.
non-elected
Hell
officials
yeah.
saying what city money will be spent for my community.
Yeah.
I rated these recommendations and updates as terrible and disgusting. I have time tonight to voice only the disgusting recommendation updates. 1,
He
premium
had them at
pay.
honorable body.
Giving the city workers for doing their jobs remotely, $2,500,000. Enterprise resource planning system, not a free subscription service, but a lower annual rate, $12 million. DCU Center for Improvement, a private company getting ARPA money, $2 million. Infrastructure and public assets, $37,955,000. The water sewage program, $22,500,000. The one that gave me the most headache, the Coalition for a Healthy Greater Worcester, only is getting $75,000 with specific intentions regarding racial equity. How much you give is how much you expect back. And paraphrasing our modern day Frederick Douglass, Tamika Mallory, Worcester, you want your Black community to do better, then you do better. May God bless this honorable body, God bless Worcester, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Terrible and
Terrible,
disgusting.
disgusting. That's the new
We're
name
off
of the
to
show.
We're off to a great start.
Just your names, the residents, and item number.
Yeah, I think their city has an interest
Leah
in
Bradley,
it, but
I'm
I don't know
the,
exactly what the
Chief Executive Officer for
Either way,
Centralized
it's
Housing
not
Alliance
enriching
here in
us.
Worcester, and also a member of the Worcester Together Affordable Housing Coalition. So I'm here in support of the 9.4A, and
Yeah,
that
tough
is
act to
the,
follow.
the ARPA funding.
Seriously.
And really here to say my gratitude to the city manager and the administration for hearing our request that we wanted 20% of the ARPA funds to go towards affordable housing, and that's really what we did get, and really appreciate that.
That is one
And
good
so we
thing.
really want
here.
to say we're
He
especially
listened
grateful for the amount that went into people experiencing homelessness, which is a continuing issue in our city, and really hope that the council will consider inclusionary zoning at some point as well, to really help to allow folks to live in any part of the city. And we were really pleased with the approach that the city manager took as well around the transparency and inclusivity with the ad hoc committees, using an equity lens to really make sure that the process is meeting people of color and also those that have been most most impacted by COVID, and especially including 2 members of the community that live in affordable housing and the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Committee. So really hope that the council and the administration will, as they move forward, will focus on new rental units, those folks that are at 50 or 30% of median income, and ensure affordability for at least 10 years. And so really just wanted to express our gratitude. You know, we really did, the city administration and the council has really heard us and has really allowed for the 20% to go into affordable housing, which is the biggest need in our community right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peter?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for giving us a chance to speak tonight. My name is Steve Teasdale. I'm the Executive Director of the Main South Community Development Corporation, and I'm also a member
Liam
of the
Nielsen.
Worcester Together Affordable Housing Coalition.
Love this accent.
I'd like to start
delightful.
first of all
Sting.
by congratulating the manager and thanking him for amending his recommendations, his initial ARPA recommendations, to revise them based on the testimony that came from the ARPA listening sessions. I think the manager has respected that testimony. He's listened to what the community had to say, and clearly affordable housing was a priority during those sessions. You know, we're seeing escalating real estate prices. We're seeing economic growth in Worcester, and the two together are causing some hardship and emotional distress for the people who are unable to pay the escalating costs of rent in this city.
He has
And
definitely gone
particularly at
to
a time
a Halloween
during the
party as
pandemic,
Hans
this has
Gruber at
created
least once.
hardships for many families. And we think the allocation of almost
McLean.
20% of the ARPA funding is appropriate in terms of the crisis that people are facing in this city in terms of affording rental housing. Over 64% of Worcester's rental households earn less than $50,000 a year. And that's just making it impossible for some of them to live here anymore. So we thank the manager. We recognize that he's putting the money into a place of great need. And we also recognize that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund commissioners will be provided with some clear priorities and objective guidelines as to what the priority uses for that funding should be. So again, we're appreciative of what the manager has done. Thank you all very much. And we hope that the council will support this recommendation. Housing's critical to sustaining healthy communities. And
Wow,
we think Worcester needs to
Hot dad shows
support
up, and
this.
look who
Thank
comes
you.
running.
What up, buddy? No, Cipro is in the Facebook chat
Good evening,
being a
councilors.
Yeah,
total
Jenny,
Mr. Mayor,
okay,
Mr. Manager.
don't. You're Monday
My
Night
name is
Warsing
David
this right
Sullivan.
now. We're
I
not.
am
We're not
the
telling
Regional
people to
Chamber
go
of
look at the
Commerce's
Facebook chat.
Economic Development Associate, and I
Fuck
work closely
Cipro,
with the Worcester Regional
loser.
Food Hub. I'm here tonight to testify on item 9.40 relative to ARPA in support of the Food Hub. Food insecurity is a problem for our city, and thousands of residents struggle with access to healthy and affordable food every day, a condition that was only worsened by the pandemic. The ARPA stimulus presents us with an opportunity to invest in capacity building for established programs with expertise in their field, which can return long-term benefits from one-time stimulus. This is why the Worcester Regional Food Hub's Union Station fit-out is a perfect candidate for ARPA funding. The Food Hub has been serving our city since 2015 as Worcester's pipeline for locally sourced and healthy food. The Food Hub's shared commercial kitchen is also a proven tool to help entrepreneurs without access to professional equipment to start up food businesses, which reflect the diverse tastes and cultures of our city. This year, the kitchen has been home to 38 diverse-owned startups.
Yeah, I'm looking
with
at
over a dozen
Facebook
more
right now, and
successfully
Richard
graduating to
Cipro
operating food trucks
has a
and
problem with
brick-and-mortar
what the black guy
locations.
said. Can you believe it?
Studies show that in
Shocking.
general, wholesale activity
Hey,
by
Cedric,
food hubs
DPW,
increases,
DPH, police,
low-income
fire extender did
populations'
not work from
access to
home.
healthy and
What a
nutritious
fucking
foods.
asshole. This guy's such a
And by
little
developing
dinky
wholesale
piece of
and
shit.
donation relationships with organizations such as the Regional Environmental Council, the Boys and Girls Club, Woo Fridges, Agro Eco
Filthy
Project,
politics.
Parents Union of MA, Worcester Housing Authority, and the Unitarian Universalist Food Pantry, among others. The Food Hub is the supplier of healthy and locally sourced food for many of the city's organizations, which help fight food insecurity and
I
provide
feel like
for
our favorite
households.
weekly
Using ARPA funds
ambitious
to
young man
help
in the
fund
blue
the
blue
Food Hub's
suit whose
fit-out
name
of
we
the
can never
Union
remember
Station
is
is
getting a little
crucial to
nervous
both
by
the
this guy's
project
speaking
and to
skills.
fighting food
Whatever
insecurity.
hypothetical
And
race
yesterday,
he's looking at, I think
councilors, you
this
may
guy
have
might be
received,
moving in on his
an email
territory.
from me, which
I have to be the most
contained a
polished
letter
young
from
man at
Congressman
public
McGovern,
participation.
who is, of course, a national advocate for food security, noting his support for this project as well in getting ARPA funding. So thank you to the city manager for his recommendation, and thank you so much to the councilors for all the work you're doing and for your consideration.
The Cipro family knows a little bit about jail.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hey, listen, there's nothing that being arrested doesn't make you a bad person, okay?
Clearly.
No, that's true, but they're just bad people.
Hi, my name is Trangley.
Who happen to have been arrested.
I'm a
Yeah.
Worcester resident. I'm also a member of the Worcester Food Hub. So I'm learned about the Food Hub it was June of 2019. So I remember because it was a
Food
really
Hub.
critical part of my life, point in my life. So
The
it was
Food
when
Hub
I
is
was about
like
to,
Pornhub,
like lose
but
my
for
job
food,
with the
right?
company I've been with
Exactly
for
like
over
that.
25 years.
Not to be
Okay.
confused
So
with the
I
food
learned
porn
about
on
the
Pornhub.
Worcester Diverse Entrepreneur Program that
Or the
That's
porn
different.
food
Food Hub is
on
doing.
Hub.
so I
Town.
applied
I don't
for
know.
it,
Hub.
got accepted, went through the program, and it was completed in beginning of October 2019. So
Get your
you would
bucha,
think,
baby.
okay, so you took this class for 3 months.
Speaking
how
of
are you gonna
food,
be
you
prepared
can
to,
drink crafty kombucha whenever
open
you
your own
want, and you
business?
should.
Well, it wasn't easy. Like there's a lot of scary things about it. It's a daunting thing to start any business. But the thing that the Food Hub helped me with was like helping me navigating the system. So helping me with getting the licenses that I need to start my own business. They helped me with like licenses, like getting the Thursday permit, for example, that's required to do any food business. And I think most importantly, they helped me by building connections and
Crafty should get
building
a
relationships.
key to my house.
So I
Just drop
I
stuff off.
actually started
Yeah.
my own business.
Just drop it off whenever you feel like it,
And
Matt.
Throughout 2020, I couldn't really do anything because everything was shut down because of COVID. But I did a lot of stuff related to food insecurity. I didn't really know that the Food Hub was going to be part of it, but they did, because we both ended up working with helping a pop-up food pantry that helped refugees and immigrants in the city of Worcester. So anyway, so when the pandemic kind of eased and things started opening up, I decided that to create a catering business. So I started on catering, and I've been doing that. In fact,
Would
the
Petty
Food
dare
Hub
give this
kitchen was
woman the
really
rope?
a critical part of my business because kitchen,
He
you
will.
cook, and we all know in the city of Worcester,
Wrap
you
up
have
your
to
comments.
cook in a licensed kitchen. So my catering business took off, and I did so well that I would, through word of mouth, I was able to secure a contract, and I do that every day. And in fact, it's such a lucrative business that I have to actually open my own place, which I'm working on right now. Just because
He's getting
the
ready to do it.
25 Francis
yeah.
Street location is just not the way it is right now. The facility is not enough to support my business.
Can you start wrap up?
Okay, so anyways, I'm opening up my own business right now, and it's all
Oh,
thanks
Joe,
to the
what a
Food
nice
Hub,
guy.
and I hope that they're able to continue to help other people like myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down to the city.
I mean, I
council.
really appreciate her explaining what,
Does she
like,
name
to
us
people
here
what the Food Hub
residents?
does. That's
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
David Slacken.
She was nervous.
Resident of Worcester, Massachusetts.
Here we go.
Which is on
Yeah.
the unceded land of the Nipmuc people. First, I'd like to speak about item 9.4 related to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Ordinance. I'm in favor of increasing the minimum number.
You know what
of
I'd never
affordable
considered
housing
before?
tenants on the commission.
And this might be a little bit
from 1 to
crass.
2. representation
But what if
matters.
him and
It
Augustus
also
like got a
matters
thing
how
going
the
on,
affordable housing tenants
and that's why
are
he shows up?
selected on this board and how their views align with their
Could be.
communities.
Could be.
On item
Because
9.35J,
still, there's no reason for this a person
related to the
this well
Columbus Park
dressed to be
Trail,
coming to the city
I just
council
want to
every
say
week
that no
that's
one
not
at
running for
Lakeside
office.
requested these improvements.
It does
which were
raise a red flag.
Partially funded by environmental justice grants.
What's his angle?
Using this
He's the ringer.
community's diverse demographics. I also want to know what are the reason for these cost overages for $300,000. Additionally, the gate at Lakeside, connecting it to Coase Park, has continually been locked. It's not at all related to Columbus Park. And that's making Coase Park inaccessible to this community. Please unlock the gates at Lakeside.
Hell yeah.
A 9.40, which is related to the update on ARPA funding. First, I just don't think that forming committees or boards to oversee the allotment of ARPA funds is in the public's best interest if they're just going to be appointed by the city manager, mayor, or city councilors. A more democratic process is needed. 2 weeks ago, I filed a petition related to using ARPA funds to fix the broken HVAC system at Columbus Park Preparatory Academy. I don't see any mention of school infrastructure improvements anywhere on the ARPA funding recommendations. The city councilors really care about the health of the youngest and most vulnerable residents. They can prove it by recommending ARPA funds be used to fix school infrastructure like ventilation systems. Related to item 12A.
I like that Homeboy's already requesting
which is,
reports.
related to
he's just showing up,
having the
he's
electoral system reflect
having
the school
paperwork
committee
filed.
districting.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Seems
to have a
upset when they're not
sixth
getting
district
reported on.
councillor, just to
Yeah,
make things
he's like
simpler. We
more
had 16.5%
engaged than
of
almost all of the
registered
city
voters turn out
councilors.
to our last election. If democracy matters, we need to have more people involved in the democratic process. And lastly, 8D, I just want to sit, related to body camera funding. I do support this item. I think that municipal funds should not be used to pay for body cameras. The funds should either come out of the current police department budget or from outside funding like donations recommended in 8D. Thank you for your time.
Seeing nobody. Mr.
Hell
Leonard?
yeah.
Have them sell cookies like the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
Good evening, Jim Leary, resident of Worcester, and I'm representing UMass Memorial Health, as well as being a member of the Worcester Together Affordable Housing Working Group. So I'd like to testify as well on 9.40A, and I want to commend the city manager for the community engagement process, for listening to members of the community with regard to the housing recommendations. There was a pretty broad coalition that recommended 20% of the ARPA funds be dedicated towards affordable housing. And as the city manager says in his transmittal letter to all of you as counselors, he doubled down on the initial recommendation to recommend that 20%, essentially $28 million, go to affordable housing. And he talked about utilizing an equity lens in the distribution of funds. Importantly, when it comes to health equity, we have to look at social determinants of health, which all of you have heard of, but it includes housing, transportation, economic justice, and the like. Housing is one of the most studied and the most proven social determinants of health. If individuals have low quality housing, if they don't have affordable housing, it impacts their health. Low quality, for example, lead can end up driving rates of asthma. Lack of affordability can cause individuals and families to not be able to afford healthy food, to not be able to afford health care and other necessities. So we believe that this investment will go a long ways towards adjusting the social determinants of health here in the city. What we've seen in COVID and pre-COVID is there are huge differences in health outcomes by census tract in the city. In the poorest census tracts, the actual life expectancy is significantly lower than in the wealthiest. If you use Kelly Square as an example, life expectancy in Kelly Square is 11 years lower than at the corner of Park Ave and Salisbury Street. It's similar if you come over from Shrewsbury into Worcester off of Main Street, Shrewsbury, into Lincoln Street in Worcester, an 11-year difference. And what we saw in COVID, the areas where poverty is the highest, where the quality of housing is the lowest, are the areas where we had the highest rates of COVID. And that's true for other health conditions. So I would ask that you take this opportunity, as the manager stated, this is an incredible opportunity to be strategic and thoughtful. And I think this investment in housing. housing would be both. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Coleman.
Here we go, Bill.
No.
Oh, is it the crazy lady again?
Name, see residence, and item
It
number.
appears to be the case.
That's an unkind word, Bill.
I know.
Maybe going through struggles.
Tonight,
I do kind of like that. A city council meeting is not dissimilar from like a New York subway, where like there's some really weird shit happening, and everyone just keeps looking straight ahead. No engagement.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There's a lot of recommendations that came from all over the city that we needed a housing summit to really discuss this. But the city manager is a great listener, and he's listened to community organizations who have listened to the public with regards to
He just sits there in the corner
need,
listening all night long.
the crucial need for housing in this community.
He's definitely listening. I'll tell you that.
As a candidate, and all of you, many of you will know that a lot of families in this community are doubling up and tripling up in their homes. And the waiting list at various different housing environments is 3 to 5 years or months out. And I know that we've heard from the esteemed and the brilliant Mo Bergman, as he has said, what, 29% of our city is
I love when Bill
owned by
says ironic things.
homeowners.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
so
rest
good.
is rental properties where people build no equity.
Excuse me, no. Yeah, we got it. We're all set. Please listen. Please listen to the officer, please. Please listen. Please. Yep. Bill, hang on for 1 second. Yep. Please.
in danger of cancer.
There's something wrong with you. Oh, it's the police chief in there. Chief Sergeant.
Can you please go up to...
Okay. I just want to say that the folks who've spoken here.
I guess so.
This is awesome. I think this lady should chair the meeting.
All right. You guys have done a great job.
Who knows, Beanie?
Mr. Coleman, I owe you one.
God, Bill is so fucking
I
funny.
think that's it. We're
It's
going to
crazy.
go to the... Yeah, okay, maybe. We'll just take a 2-minute break to, okay? All those in favor? Opposed, so what?
Keep the cameras on though, so we can see.
Keep the
rough-
cameras
rough
going.
This is the open meeting law. We need to see what they're going to do to this
Ed's getting
poor
involved
woman.
now.
Ed's gonna go punch her right in the face.
Ed just touches her on the forehead and she
Ed just comes over and just boom, sucker punch her. Haymaker. Sucker punch haymaker. That's what I meant to say. Did they mute this? They muted it?
Yeah.
They're gonna mute the most interesting part. I really like when she said some vague allusion to like they're all gonna get cancer or something like that.
Yeah, you're in danger of cancer.
You're in danger of cancer, yes. I mean
Mo, put your
just-
fucking mask on and sit back in your chair.
It was just a callback to last week's item about the sunscreen.
Oh, right, yeah.
I love Bill Coleman.
Meeting is in recess until we escort the crazy lady away.
There.
No, the other crazy lady.
Yeah, Cipro was saying some haggard ass shit on the Facebook.
Oh yeah, I still have
for a
that
minute,
tab
but-
open. I'm gonna go look. Check these.
Oh, there you
comments
go.
out.
Where was it? He said something about everybody wants free money. It's like, motherfucker, like, have you ever worked a detail in your life? Like,
Yeah, right.
don't come at me without free money, you piece of shit.
That is free money, dude.
I was gonna comment, this is a Cipro, this is a winners only chat, please leave, but I feel like it's just asking for attention that I don't want right now.
Drop a link over here. Lure them in.
Yeah.
That would actually be funny. I'm gonna do that right now.
Travis just put the link.
Hey, Rich, come over here. Oh my God, if Richard Cipro logs came.
Hey, yeah, say Cipro. The runners up chat is at the link.
All right.
It's been
Well,
more
this
than
is
2
exciting.
minutes. Come on. Yeah, I imagine she's still right at the door, and that's why they haven't started back up yet.
I can't tell if they paused the camera or if everyone is just staring at their phones.
Oh no, they did definitely.
They did pause the camera. Okay.
Yeah. Unless it froze.
What do we do if the camera comes back on and everyone's dead? Do we have material for the rest of the night?
I think that we'd have plenty to talk about if everyone
Yeah.
in the city council
Fair.
died. That we'd have a lot to talk about. I just told
Suspect-
Richard Cipro to join us.
Suspect number 1.
Um,
Suspect number 2.
Can we tell if Richard Cipro comes in here?
Yeah, if he has a Twitch account, I can see.
Yeah, okay. Well, I hope he comments so that we know he's in here. Yeah. Well, now they're in front of the cameras. Ed Augustus is definitely beating that woman up right now.
Senseless.
He just instructed the officer there to tie her up in his office.
The chief
Yeah,
just dragged her right into the office. And yeah, they're just
he walked
hauling
across the screen and then he picked up a sock and started filling it with oranges.
Yeah. Augustus in his chambers with a lead pipe.
It looks like they're back on. Why is ours not working? Travis, we might need to reload this.
I don't think they're back on. Wally's looking at his phone.
Yeah, that's a frozen shot. It's they're going.
Oh, they're going again?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You just
They're
hold
on-
that up then.
They're on audio calls.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh.
Still no volume though.
Oh.
Maybe we're all frozen.
That would be trippy. That would be trippy. What is going on?
I'm gonna hold the audio up to the microphone until then.
I remember the students coming to the
Sounds like an
stage,
NPR
talking, dancing with
like
us.
story
And one
podcast.
student in particular
shit
gave me a hug,
The moth.
and he said, "You know what? I had no idea that my heritage, my culture, was so important to your culture." So, with this, all I want to do is remind you guys that where there's roots, there's power.
Anthrax was such a crazy thing. Like, we still don't know who did that.
For the arts and
It's true.
culture.
Are we getting any sound? We're still not getting any sound.
No.
Let me check. I have the other the city stream opened up.
Yeah, I guess let's go back to the other one for now.
Appa. Oh yeah, the city stream works, so it's our problem.
Fair.
It's on us. Something's going on.
User, if you're on the phone,
I'll just pantomime what's going on.
press star
I'll
Oh.
share it from my end. Oh.
Go to the next calling user. I'm now going to send the unmute request to the calling user.
Hello?
Use all the directions and press
Hey.
star six to
Hello?
unmute yourself.
Did we lose it again?
Okay, now here from that calling user.
Oh,
We're going
never
to move
mind.
on to the next calling user. If you're on the phone, once I send you the unmute request, can you please press star 6 to unmute yourself?
Hello?
We don't know what
Go
happened
ahead,
to
we
the
can hear
heckler.
you.
What happened to the? Oh, we lost the stream again. What the fuck? Let's just go back to the city stream. I guess we gotta ditch the fucking.
Travis, just start typing up subtitles for us.
Preserving investor-owned rental units for low to moderate income tenants. Needless to say, even the significant infusion of funds from the rescue plan are not adequate to meet the need for more housing for low to moderate income residents. I urge the city manager and this council to consider strategies available to municipalities to prevent the displacement of long-term residents from investor-owned properties. If private owners receive incentives to retrofit their properties, the city must impose long-term affordability restrictions on those properties. I urge the city manager and this council to consider strategies such as inclusionary zoning and to continue to prioritize the hardest hit residents, earning 30 to 50% of the area median income.
Over this council's dead
developing
body
and
would
preserving
inclusionary
rental
zoning
units.
ever happen in Worcester.
I hope that at some point the city of Worcester will seriously
Which is a shame. It's a good
entertain
idea.
proven strategies for increasing housing security for our residents, building limited equity housing through land trusts and social housing governed by tenants, and increasing access to home ownership through housing cooperatives, which have been proven a source of neighborhood stability in New York City and elsewhere. Thank you, and thank you again to the city manager.
You know what I
for,
did consider? What if that was Joe
responding
Hart?
to the concerns of the Coalition of Affordable Housing Advocates. Thank you.
I only saw it from the back, but I mean, yeah, I guess could have been. Seemed a little out of
Mr. Mayor, I
character.
have one more calling user. I'm going to try to unmute.
I don't. Not really though.
If you're on the phone, I'm going to send you the unmute
Who's
request.
who's
If you
Joe
can
Hart?
Please press star 6. to
Joe
be
Hart is
unmuted.
a lady who would be at city council every week and would usually get up and say something like
Okay, now
about
hearing from that
like
calling user,
really
we'll move on to
incendiary about how
electronic devices.
shitty the city council is.
The first speaker I
And she was
identify on,
kind of a
electronic
delight
devices
every
is
week, and she hasn't
Jennifer
been there
Bowell.
for a
I'm trying
while.
to unmute
So.
Jennifer now.
She'd say stuff like, "Worcester is the cruelest city I have ever lived
Jennifer,
in."
can you hear us? Jennifer, can you hear
I
us?
think I saw an
Can you
Instagram
hear
thread
me?
from
We
her.
can't go ahead.
Is this your name?
Okay, sorry. My call is in reference to agenda item 9.40A. My name is Jennifer Shank-Balwell, and I'm the executive director at Worcester Community Housing Resources, as well as a member of the Worcester Together Affordable Housing Coalition. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the city manager and his team for the thoughtful budget recommendations as it relates to the city's allocation of ARPA funds for affordable housing. These funds are an opportunity to make significant and lasting impact on affordable housing in the city, especially for those with the lowest incomes and hardest hit by COVID. The plan not only takes into account the coalition's request for 20% of the ARPA funds going towards affordable housing, but also includes provisions for transparent community
So what are you smashing?
engagement and utilization of an equity lens.
I don't know.
Worcester Community Housing Resources fully supports the proposal and looks forward to working with the city on implementation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Bill Conway. I'm going to try to unmute Bill now. Mr. Conway, can you hear us?
I'm just here to answer any questions that may arise from hearing 7A Crown Castle.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Bill. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Christine Tosti. I'm going to try to unmute Christine now. Okay, now hearing from Ms. Tosti, we're going to move on to the next speaker, Emiliano Falcon Morano. I'm going to try to unmute Emiliano now.
That's a great name.
Falcon.
Falcon Morano sounds like a
Falcon
luchador.
Morano, can you hear us? Okay.
My name is Falcon.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Fred Taylor. Mr. Taylor, I'm going to try to unmute
Oh,
you
yeah,
now.
I love Fred Taylor. How many of these people want to speak, but the technology that the city uses is so stupid that they can't get through?
Mr. Taylor, can you unmute yourself? I've sent you the request. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm calling in on item number 9.40B.
There he is.
It's related to the school resource officers. I want to first thank the city manager because last year
We just saw how they manhandled that old lady in the hallway there.
We had a
Clearly couldn't be any better for the kids.
The community wanted a lot of things in criminal.
What did I miss?
Police reform.
We're just beating up an old lady in the hallway.
And one of the things that the community wanted
at City Hall.
SROs removed. From
Where else would you
Worcester
beat up an old
Public
lady in the
Schools.
hallway?
We're pleased that the city manager
guess it's the
set
only
up
place
a
to do it,
task
right?
force,
Yeah.
a school safety task force, and there's some recommendations that are put
Answer the
forward
question.
today on removing the police from the schools, the SROs. There's a plan
Yeah.
that's been rolled out last Friday.
Yeah,
And I'm just
I knit
proud
this
to
from
hear
all
and
of her
proud to
hairs.
say that December
that I've collected.
22nd should be the last day that we have police in Worcester Public
This is a
Schools.
very. This
And
would
it's
be
gonna
a her
great-
sweater.
It's going to be a great day. It's going to be
Little
a great day
American-
for the city. It's going to be an
Little
absolutely
American Santa.
fantastic day for
Fred
the
Taylor.
community because this is something we've been
No,
asking
it's
We
fine.
got
We
for
got captions now.
years.
I was gonna say, we got
thank
some
the
feedback.
city manager,
Uh,
and I also want to thank the city councils who are
that we
supporting
talk
with
too
this.
much on a
And
show
I'll
where you
continue to
talk.
support them with this. Thank you.
Fred Taylor saying celebrating the end of SROs in
Tiana. I'm gonna
Worcester
try to
Public
unmute Tiana
Schools, which
now.
I fully am on board with.
Yeah.
Okay, not hearing from Tiana. We're
What
going
it-
to move on to the next speaker. Next speaker is Mia McDonald. I'm going to try to unmute Mia McDonald now. Ms. McDonald?
Mio wants some McDonald's, right?
Hello?
Right, guys? Right, guys?
Can you hear me?
I'd like to get me a McDonald.
My name is Mia McDonald. I'm a resident of the city
Friggin'
of
20
Worcester.
piece, maybe.
Mom to 5 kids, recent graduate of Ferncoat High, a junior at South High, a freshman at Worcester Tech, a 7th grader at Sullivan Middle, and a 5th grader at Columbus
Collecting
Park.
all the
I'm
schools.
here for item 9.40B.
Gotta
to hear the
catch 'em
discussion regarding
all.
Recommendations from the school
We got
safety
bad
task
grades.
force on the removal of the safety resource officers. Thank you for taking the time to discuss this, and I look forward to hearing the discussion.
That's it.
Oh.
Mr.
All
Mayor,
right.
the next speaker is
No
identified
opinion,
as Nadine James. I'm going to try to unmute Nadine now.
What's this about Joe Hart being hospitalized?
Yeah, I guess she's in the hospital.
James, can
My
you,
name is, can you hear me?
we can go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of kids, except to hear the
Hi, my
conversation.
name is Nadine James, and I'm here for case 940 in the food hub. And I'm here to just talk about
Only thing I like
the
more than
benefits
kids is
what
making
the
them.
food hub has done for me. In 2019,
Human kids, gingerbread
June, I
kids.
get accepted, and when I get accepted, didn't know nothing about business. I didn't know nothing about.
They call me a McDonald's
how
over
to
99 billion
conduct,
served.
even own a business, how to do a menu, nothing.
We don't know what happened with the lady in the
Joining the
hallway.
food up, they helped me. They
We
mentor me.
we
they
hypothesize
the
that
right
she's
places, the right
tied to a
people.
chair in Ed Augustus's office,
And then now I have a
and
cafe.
he's beating.
Oh wait,
her.
this is this Nadine from Unique Cafe? She's awesome. Sorry.
Oh,
One of the
nice.
things that I love about
the help that they gave me, that they didn't just give me a kitchen,
Shaun, we
but
do
they
talk
gave
too
me a
much.
place to sell my food, because they do a lot of pop-ups.
She's really sweet. I spoke at
a lot of networking, a lot of
Brickbox to some business people. I don't know.
one-on-one
It was
session.
bad. I hated it,
Everything that you
but
need
it was
to know
fun. Like
about business,
people
everything
talked
you
to me
know
about comedy, and she
from
was
the
catering it.
sign, from your logo,
And
and
they're good.
everything.
They're like right next to the Oscars
This
cleaners on
I
Millbury
would
Street.
like somebody else to get that same opportunity, because if it wasn't for the food hub, I wouldn't have a business right now. Because it was just an idea, but once I get there, it becomes actual vision, and the vision become right now. I'm owning my own business.
Just give it all to Food Hub.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Natalie Turner. I'm going to try to unmute Natalie.
Hey, Richard
now.
Cipro, if you actually came in the chat, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
You're a little stupid idiot bitch. You lost, dumbass.
Yeah, McDonald's free
Evening.
Big Mac
I'd
today
like
if
to
you
say
spend
thank you to the city
$1.
manager and for the council for your service.
That's like 5
I'd like
fries.
to speak on item number 9.40, the ARPA plan. I'd like to speak in regards to Green Island and the
ARPA.
infrastructure improvements. I think that it's a great plan to sink money into our infrastructure all over the city, and especially in Green Island, seeing the issues that are going on over there. I would just like to see that the plan would include more funding for other parts of the ARPA areas when it comes to infrastructure. I'm a longtime resident of the Beaverbrook Park area, and our little area over here is
Underwater.
so overly missed,
Always.
especially when it comes to any type of city funding.
We gave you a park years ago. Shut up.
Infrastructure is
Who do you think paid for
very,
filling in that swimming pool?
very old and has not been repaired very well. We've
That's a
had
good one.
Water main breaks on multiple occasions over the last 2 years, at least 3 to 4.
Also, Josh Lightford's dog just bites everyone in the neighborhood.
Yeah. If you drive more than 20 miles an hour down Main Street, he'll come out and yell at you personally.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you all and your
That's an
families.
extremely good point. Made Southfield.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, the last speaker is Shaun Rainford. I'm going to try to unmute Shaun now.
Oh.
Mr.
Hey, Shaun.
Rainford.
Friend of the show.
Okay,
I would
not
love
hearing
it if,
from Mr.
if they
Rainford.
couldn't get him on.
That concludes virtual public participation.
Well done, Shaun.
Thank you.
Good job, Shaun.
How to close it out, Shaun?
Literally 7 speakers about the
there's a
food hub,
delay now.
and they couldn't get the head of the food hub to stop.
So the clerk now, instead of just letting someone speak, just send a
My city is
notice
dying.
And please unmute yourself. Then it has to come back. That's why there's a delay until we have it figured out.
Did we just get a tech TED talk from Mayor Petty there?
Hearings in order.
You
The
see,
motion is to open the
it
hearing.
sends signals
Those in favor?
to the internet,
Opposed? So
and
ordered.
then
I've been told they're
We
microwaves.
have the
you
condo
gotta,
location on
you
Park
gotta
Ave.
go through the
Anybody
tubes.
opposed to the condo location on Park Ave?
This thing in front of me, the little black thing on the
The motion is
stick,
to
if I
close
speak
the
into that,
hearing
it makes my
and to
voice
adopt on
louder
roll call.
than it
Roll
would
call.
be
Councilor
if it
Bergman?
wasn't
Yes.
in front of me.
Councilor Caloria?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Yes. Councilor Rivera? Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Rosen?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey? Councilor Wally?
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. We have petitions 8A to refer to traffic and park, 8A and 8B to traffic and parking, 8C to the Veterans Memorial Parks and Rec Committee. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We have Michael Grandone request council request man to work with the Chamber of Commerce to organize
Let's
a
get
funding mechanism.
the
for
Una baby on the boards.
Police force to assist in donations from prominent
Yeah.
businessmen. corporations, college, and
Unibaby sound baby. Wow. I was looking for something to come out good.
Communications with
It's
city manager. We have an appointment, transmitting information, communication of the appointment.
You're now an open mic comic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been there, pal.
Service. And the motion, we can file that.
I'll have a joke by the time I finish the sentence. Oh, nope.
You're right. I should be the sound person. Unibaby is the sound person.
Motion to the rules. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Mayor's really giving this closed caption a workout tonight.
So these are the ordinances. Salary
There's a
ordinances,
little elf in the
revised
Facebook factory
ones for
somewhere,
the,
just like, fuck, why do I have to do this one?
Surveillance technology. So we'll take that on a roll call. To be ordained on a roll call.
We got a priest?
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council King?
All right.
Council Member Carlson?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Are we all here today?
Council Rosen?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Think so.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Council Wally?
And is
Mayor
is
Petty.
Candy wearing a mask this time?
She is.
9.3.
She is.
Wow.
We need a vote for reconsideration.
Did she buy one of Kate's on Etsy?
Reconsider. Roll call.
Looks like standard
Council
issue
Bergman?
paper mask.
Council Calorio?
No.
Council King?
Yes. I mean, no.
Council Member Carlson?
No.
Council Rivera?
No.
Council Rose?
No.
Council Rosen?
No.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
No.
Council Wally?
No.
And Mayor Petty.
No. Okay, 9.48, motions to advertise, recommend adoption of amendment to Affordable Housing Trust Fund Ordinance. So the motion is to advertise. It will come back to us in a couple of weeks. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council King? Council Member Carlson?
Yes.
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
This tweet here that says
Yes.
Council
every
Russell?
city
Yes. Council
has
Toomey?
one
Yes.
fucked
Council Wally?
Burger
Yes.
King.
And Mayor Petty.
Next one, Trisme.
I think we have more than one.
We have one fucked Burger King. That's so true.
Council, do you want us to file it?
Mr. Chairman, I would just request, if I may.
I love that Burger King.
I was going to say
Worcester
GT Automotive. I
administration
agree. Two.
comes
We have
back to
two.
The council with details. on
What do
the
you say?
upcoming
What do you think?
Because this is information about.
Wait, where's the
upcoming
other Burger
events.
King?
Sure.
Webster
There's
Square.
Webster
and,
Square,
Times
and
Square.
then there's
Attending
yeah,
those meetings.
but then there's a third up on
Grafton Hill.
Wilson Street.
For some information.
Oh, it's
Oh,
both.
I
Grafton
forgot
Hill.
about
There's
the.
Grafton Hill.
There's a Grafton Hill
We
Burger
have four
King.
fucked up Burger
For
King.
what's used for not only
I-
the budgetary cost. but
All right,
also
so I
what
remember
planning and
the Webster Square one now, but I live in Grafton Hill. I don't know about this
File that
Burger
item
King
and
guy.
take
I don't
the
think it's.
motion of
I don't think it's
Council
real.
Russell. Those in
It's-
favor?
Oh, is it the
the
one
old
that's next to the
Building 19.
Taco Bell?
It's next to the Taco Bell.
Recommend
Ah,
adoption of
yeah,
one vote
okay.
To the snowplow
All right.
conflict of interest waiver form.
West Wilson Street is just
What's-
randomly closed, like at like
Council
7
Bergman?
o'clock
Council
sometimes.
Calorio?
West
Yes.
Wilson Street. Wilson Street one. That's where that's where like everyone in high school would hang out in the parking lot, and that's where all the fights would happen. Like out in front of it's like that's the busiest street in that neighborhood. And it's like, hey, we're gonna fight so everyone can see us fight. That's how we get off.
Damn.
Communication relative to the
Travis,
building
can you drop that in the
to
comments?
mitigate future water and sewer rate increases.
Cipro comment that you
Thank you
just
for the detailed
typed in the
report.
private chat.
Send that to committee, Counselor. Okay. Mr. Fink, thank you for the report. It was well done.
Oh, is he watching us on Facebook?
Before the
He's
committee,
watching the
I'll-
Facebook stream and commenting racism on
Safety.
it.
transmission
Oh,
information
hell yeah.
for The report concerning
Yeah.
We
He's
did drop
doing
the link to
racism.
bring him over here, but yeah.
Police Department Operations Division. Council Toomey.
Yeah, that's great.
He's
one time out.
leaning the fuck into it.
I look forward to.
You lost, bud.
talking about this. We have an upcoming public safety.
And to be
committee.
clear, Christian hasn't said anything but yes or no.
And,
So-
and I appreciate,
He did say, I
all the
mean
work
yes,
that
once.
Keith and the administration and his staff and the administration has put into this. This is going to be providing some unique opportunities for us to address a lot of the concerns that have been brought up over the past few years about hyper-focus and accountability and all of those things. And this will improve communication as well as be a major benefit
extremely
for
telling.
ensuring that we have the appropriate resources.
Yeah, if he was an
as
equal
we-
opportunity ignorance person, he'd be
a little different than
making
what we
old
have here.
jokes, fat
But
jokes.
by providing
He'd be going everywhere,
Mass
right?
jokes.
captain that he's
Mass
Shitty Etsy
jokes.
jokes.
certainly will have someone who has ownership and complete
Irish
understanding
jokes.
of the situation.
I want Burger King now.
From what I've read, and I know there's a lot more.
That,
to
I'm
be
telling you,
forward.
that Impossible Whopper.
This is inclusive.
Yeah, it is
And,
good. It is good.
and quite
Once
Did
I
you
was at
guys
the
have-
Kelly Square Burger King,
I think
and
provides
somebody
greater,
cut the drive-through line
interaction
in
and
front of me on
communication
foot
with the community,
and just tried to get their $5 back from one of the
residents
people working there.
businesses and all
They're
of
just
the
like this. They're going,
opportunities
"One,
to engage all the city
one."
departments, issues that
Hey, where's my $5?
Yeah. So I want
The last,
to
the last time I went in that drive-through, I pull up and they don't say "Welcome to Burger King." They go, "We don't have a lot, including fries."
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to.
Yeah, I mean, the racism is just well documented at this point. We got shit to talk about Burger King.
Putting this plan together. I really do think this
Richard Cipro is racist. We know. I mean,
the way we deliver.
we got a lot of time to talk about Richard Cipro being racist because, like, he's just going to keep doing it as much as he can all the time.
Neighborhood groups.
It's good that he lost. It's really good that he. Imagine if he won.
Try something.
Oh my
different.
God.
Way to be responsive.
Would he be doing the same comments, but in like every time Christian Kim speaks, like, "Man, this is boring." Public comments, man, these guys suck, huh?
Taking the initiative on this and making this happen. I know the counselors have all been invited to a more in-depth briefing at the police department, as well as some of the new counselors, so that everybody can get more questions answered, go into more depth.
We do some icebreakers.
Who are going to be in charge of these
Trust
areas
falls.
and other staff. But I
Do
do
two
think
truths
it's
and a lie.
change, and I think one that we're going to look back on and say, geez, we're really glad we made this this change. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of questions to the chair. I know that in this particular item indicates that there's some reassignment that's going to occur based on the precincts. And I also know that there's going to be a bit of a briefing, I guess Thursday or Friday. During
Which
the
one are we on?
workday. So I won't
Burger
be
King
able to
orders.
Oh, that chicken sandwich that's like rectangle.
regards to the reassigning, I'm just wondering, will this require additional promotions, or this purely reassigning?
Oh, this one I don't
and
care
what
about.
impact it would have on
9.10a.
The captains that are on
the
24/7
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
chair.
24/7
fries?
captains.
That's a fun thing to do. Pull up and go, "Hey, y'all got chicken fries?"
For the chair, that is for the councilor. There's no additional changes in structure other than we are moving our.
I had the Impossible Nuggets from there.
We're moving our captains. to
Pretty
days.
damn good.
Obviously, they'll be available to work nights also because they're covering a full sector.
Oh, Stevie.
8-hour shift. They'll be responsible.
Is he wearing a
for
body cam now?
What goes on in a certain area?
He's got bruises on his knuckles from pummeling that old woman.
Yeah. What they'll be assigned to do.
This is.
He looks like a Keebler Elf with his mask like this.
You're under arrest.
Their coverage has
You're under arrest. I'm gonna bring you into my tree.
District councilors, all councilors, our whole city will be an advantage for them, but our district councilors. will
What a cute little guy.
be able to take
He's a
advantage.
cute guy. He's dreamy.
From his head.
Thank you. And I know one of
Take
the
his gun,
things
throw it in the
that I
sewer.
discussed during budget time, and I think
He's never seen.
Wow.
Some of the
The
gaps,
most-
in
the least
between
racist man
shifts
in the city.
as relates to dispatch and the calls coming in. And I know that's a separate entity, but I'm just wondering if
the first time I've ever
this
seen
sort
it.
of change will impact responsiveness to those sorts of calls that are backlogged.
Most definitely, because before it would be the three separate captains would be responsible for different times of day. So if there was
Like, do you know the Power Rangers? It's kind of like that. I'm like Zordon.
coming off the street. What this will do is it'll give the captain the opportunity to.
There's a Green Ranger.
more
He's
resources
evil.
if they needed to change numbers
That's it.
from.
Honestly, I'm just
11 to
jealous of
7,
him.
They could, they could bid forward, and they could have more personnel on the first half division.
This is
They
a
could be
AHA
able to
video?
cover those calls. Or also, they can make sure that these issues, they'll be working closer with dispatch, with our communications division, to make sure that these issues that do arise at this time of day, which could be, like I say, between 2 and 4, it could be.
Yes,
11,
through the chair,
7,
Mr. Sergeant. What time is the Grafton Hill Burger King close?
Through the chair, whenever the fuck they feel like it.
Yeah, that's true.
The officers are on the street to make sure these calls are.
Through the
calls
chair,
that
can
are
I get
raised,
chicken
that
fries?
they are raising because
Y'all
of
got chicken
the
fries?
changes.
Y'all got chicken fries.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to mention
Try it.
that
It feels
someone
great.
who's, as a child protective social worker, has been co-responding with the Worcester Police
Oh,
Department.
we got to
since
see what
1992,
Richard Cipro is saying
and
now.
currently remain as a
Oh, it's got to be
hotline
repulsive.
investigator for child welfare. That change shift is crucial. This is a critical, I think, forward-thinking policy and procedural approach as it relates to police responsiveness. You know that when it comes to shift changes and the like, sometimes things have fallen through the cracks. There's been significant delays, which may not be long periods of time. They may or may not be. But
I don't know much about how the back end of our setup works, but if we could get some smooth jazz playing every time Christian is talking,
final question.
it really would be fucking perfect.
Answer, like it back away report. I know that at that budget time, there was some back and forth around some of the new implementations procedurally that was going to occur with dispatch and perhaps with Worcester PD. And I'm just wondering if we can, if you have an update for us in regards to the changes implemented on the dispatch side as it relates to the backlogging of calls through the chair.
Mr. Manager?
Hey,
Through
Mr.
the chair.
Chairman, I'd like to get a report, show the emergency.
Throw the chair.
Sorry, my baby was crying, and I said, "Stop acting like a
Very
Richard
much.
Cipro."
Appreciate that. I look forward to the changes and perhaps a opportunity here for the city as it relates to all of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
I keep spamming Richard Cipro to come on the chat. I want him to so bad.
Any response?
So to go back to
Not yet.
9. So to go back to 9.3A.
I wonder if he knows who I am. I don't think he does.
Ask that. So recommend the amendment to the table of organization for the Department of Human Resources.
Good God.
Roll call.
That is blasphemy.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mauro Carlson? Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council
I
Rose?
really want an EL fudge now.
Yes. Council Russell? Yes. Council Toomey?
Yes.
Council Wally?
Yes.
And
All
Mayor
right,
Pettit.
what's next?
Yes.
That's the sort of thing that gets you
We're
thrown
going
out of
to
North Korea.
9.13A. Recommend adoption of an order authorizing acceptance of the Worcester Redevelopment Authority's conveyance, 100 Madison Street, Polo Park, and assignment of the ballpark lease agreement. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mauro Carlson?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Rosen?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Council
I'll
Wally?
be right
Yes.
back,
And
guys.
Mayor Pettit.
Yes. 9.23A.
Bill's gonna go work on the PA at City Hall.
Increases with the youth at the Worcester Public
You're under arrest.
Great report. Mr. Manager, your next career.
That character may be
Through you,
making
Mr.
an
Chairman,
appearance on Thursday night in our
acceptable
D&D
position.
stream.
Thank you. I wanted the council to know about the significant increase in teens in the city of Worcester who are now being served through our new expanded teen area in the library. Innovation Center, 3D printers,
Venmo $100 to
technology,
Wounded Comedy. We'll forward it to Jeff.
in ways that we couldn't accommodate previously. So I think this is
Unless
good
she wants
news.
to give out her own
We've
Venmo.
asked the,
That's her
librarian
business.
to come in if the council will indulge us for maybe 10 minutes in January to give kind of.
I was reading the toxic Facebook comments about SROs getting taken out, and someone referred to Ed as the woke city manager, and I was like, guys,
barely awake.
Are we grasping at straw? Barely awake.
The Skleep city manager.
Children, families it's a really important resource in our community. I want
The Snorlax manager. He literally sleeps in the road until you play a flute. Thank you, Brian.
That was a great meme.
Yeah, I definitely want to just rise to be able to say, I think this is so important to get this information out because it is pretty spectacular, actually, when you go and see. And I just want to let the administration know that I have heard from various people in the community. They're like, wow, I went to the library and it's just amazing. Just this weekend, I was working with a gentleman who's, was a single dad with a toddler, and he's like, oh, and it's cold. I can't. And I said, have you seen our library? Like, and they were like, oh, they're so small. I said, no, they have like a whole section. And how people feel like it's a place that they can go.
It is nice. My son has destroyed it already.
That they don't feel welcome there.
Like the bathroom?
Oh yeah, do not go in there.
I also wanted to just.
Well, that's the best part. Every time you go back, it's clean again.
Yeah, he went to the kids section, just was like.
Do they still have that giant giraffe?
I didn't see the giraffe. I was like looking forward to seeing the giraffe.
Remember that thing? Man, I have like the most vivid sense memory of what that thing smelled like.
Yeah. It kind of smelled like the bear den at Ecotarium.
Yes, exactly like
there
that.
were several testimonials about the staff and her and the library. And so
like weirdly a little bit like cigarettes and
so I just
sometimes because every other kid lived in an apartment where their parents smoked inside.
I've heard a lot
see, they retired.
Really good things.
He went to go live in a farm.
Areas of the community about this library, and it is
a stuffed farm.
I think for me, it's definitely one of the things we should be really, really.
He crossed the stuffed rainbow bridge.
Definitely, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, is this my mom?
Oh, yeah, is it? But here's some good intel. We're both clicking it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. What did he do? What are his crimes?
The library is
Bill's back.
January. All those in favor?
Thank you.
We are on finance items. 9 point.
Can we just say that? Does anybody agree that Snorlax is the best Pokemon? Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, without a doubt.
Charizard gets a lot of heat, but
9.36A
Snorlax is the best Pokemon.
Snorlax was just made the game so much harder just because he was snoozing. You couldn't get around him.
Did Bill go to Burger King?
No, but I did think about it. I want one of those long boys.
Got halfway there. Like, shit, I should finish this shit.
One of those long boys. Oh, it is your mom.
Can confirm this is my mom.
Yes.
Hi,
hey, Mary.
Thanks for the support.
Wally.
Yes.
Mom, Venmo $100 to Jess.
Yes. I believe it's 9.40A. Transmitting information communication of the update
Come
on the
on,
proper
Paul.
funding recommendations.
What are we on now?
Year subscription to my newsletter for whoever goes to Burger King and drops it off at my house.
Yeah, according to the closed captioning on opera funding.
Council received a month ago that was the culmination of 5
federal COVID relief.
The hipster
Let's
browser.
go, Brandon, baby. Let's fuck Brandon.
Online survey.
Yeah. We don't fucking like him either, you nerds.
Let's fuck Brandon. Hey, that's how it goes, right?
Just be clear, I spell my name differently. Y'all are on your own.
I think that the recommendation.
That'd be a good 508 podcast T-shirt. Let's go, Brendan.
Let's go, Brendan.
Administration as to how to.
I think I'm gonna make that shirt.
Yeah, just Brendan with aviators on, going Jack.
Mentioned in the cover of communication. a couple of overarching things I think are important to communicate to the community as well as to the council. One is we want to remain flexible because there are additional dollars that the state is going to allocate, that the federal government may do through
where's my fucking pen?
Infrastructure bill that's been passed, but we don't have all of that.
Good call.
How that translate to state localities, but there are opportunities there for water, sewer, for streets, for other infrastructure improvements. And then if this reconciliation bill, or what's been called the human infrastructure bill, is ultimately passed at the federal level, there are more dollars there for childcare.
What is that called?
I'm so lost.
Other buckets of money that might become available. So I just offer
Broward
that
curly head.
We need to
You
stay nimble.
suck.
We need to stay aware of what's going on.
I can't. Okay,
periodically revisit this.
You make no sense, and you're an idiot.
He keeps talking about we need to stay nimble. We need to stay nimble, but just proposing things that were problems 5 years ago that have nothing to do with COVID.
Yeah, Jack, be quick.
Many of whom have been impacted by COVID and the economic fallout of COVID.
Yeah, we need to be nimble by using $13 million to give our payroll team new fucking software. Fuck, dude, shut up. Ed Augustus just shut up all the time.
Ed Augustus, shut up.
Oh, you're speaking, Ed? Shut up.
Our businesses,
Just
arts and culture sector.
Shut your mouth.
As was mentioned, deal with some of the underlining social determinants.
Guys, I lost my fucking pen.
Food insecurity issues, childcare issues.
Okay, thanks, buddy. I'll try to get a hold with you tomorrow morning to get the answers and send it back to the next week. And then we will send it out on our way to get it off to CI. And see, then we can do the...
So we've done a lot.
This guy rocks. Hey, this guy's just like... Just
committed to
giving us a little glimpse into like this schizophrenic trip that he's on.
Anybody who applies for this money, whether it be a community-based organization, existing business, wherever it may
Bill,
be.
do you have only one pen?
Yeah, what do you think? I have more than one freaking millionaire over here.
Somebody Venmo Bill $100 for a pen from Burger King.
There's a number of buckets.
Whoever's going to get me Burger King, one of those.
They're doing the
boys.
buckets thing. Oh my god, he's doing the fucking buckets thing again.
Creative and cultural.
Buckets.
I don't like this bucket terminology. Be careful, you're taking from or putting in.
Yeah, well, we got the deplorables over here.
Other basic needs. And my suggestion is that we create task forces of residents who will sit kind of on each of these committees and vet and recommend back
residents
to
that I appoint who I know won't do anything that I say they can't do.
David Slatkin.
The ability for somewhere between 25 and 30 different people to be involved in the decision-making process. Open up that process.
There you go.
Everybody will have a
Remind
chance to
Travis of that.
apply.
He gets
They'll go
back
through
in.
the difficult task of trying to figure out how to make the dollars as large as they are.
You think Travis went to Burger King?
Oh, he probably did.
Guys, I found it.
And we can
It was in his mouth.
into the decision process, make it fair and transparent.
Yeah, why do you think his Substack is only once a week? It takes him a whole week to write out each blog.
I've also committed.
Yeah, I have to use this one pen, and I'm always losing.
The council and by extension to the community about where the money went, who it went to, what kind of difference it's making, and we can then make decisions about course adjustments based on what those kind of updates look like and whether it's having.
Ed Augustus is just like taking it literally when the Gen Zs say less. He just doesn't say anything.
A couple things.
Well, it's just like we have to like give the money into things and then see what happens with then, and then we can decide where to put more of the money. Well, how could we know what effect the money will have until we give it to random things?
Where else are you going to put $13 million in then buckets?
Abilities to deliver not only services.
I want him to show up to our door like the with the big check, but instead he just has buckets of money for all of us. Like, here's your bucket.
As an alternative,
and it's wet, like soaks dollar bills.
Mr. Bucket, put your bucks in my mouth.
We're going to need that facility. That facility needs to have an electrical system that will support fully.
Yeah, I am anti-nimbleness.
should we need it for a third time? We've used it twice
I
in
mean,
this
we just talked
pandemic.
about how much I love
So by investing in
Snorlax.
that,
I'm very
we're investing in the
anti-nimble.
ability to provide overflow.
Ed
to
Augustus
support our
has a little bit of a
hospitals. That benefits
Snorlax
every
little
resident. We
vibe
don't
to
know
his
who might
general
need the
shape.
hospital.
Yeah, when you were
Could
gone,
imagine
I said he was our city Snorlax. He sits in front in the middle of a road and sleeps, and then you have to play a flute to get him to move.
That has been used directly in response
He's
to how we deal with
A
the
nimble grittiness about him.
So, Bill, that's where the DCU COVID dollars are going? Is to build out a new generator system? That seems to be what he's talking about now.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about right now.
And it's predicated on them having to use it for COVID overflow in the past.
feedback from the community.
That's great. I have the document pulled up right now.
Opportunities to impact.
We're gonna get a brand new Zamboni. It's got TVs in the back for everyone to watch. It makes confetti.
Because somebody bumped into the Zamboni during COVID, so we gotta get a new one.
Yeah, it's going to the electrical vault.
Oh man, that used to be next to Shaboom's, right?
The electrical vault. Yeah, they never ID'd over there.
Transparent process over the last several months, and I'm sure it's a
I don't think you know what that word means.
It's a once in a lifetime
And I think
opportunity
you
for us
see
to
some
spend
of the
money on the
suggestions
shit we
here,
would have
and one
spent
of the
money on
things that
anyway.
A lot of the councils went to the
Can we put
the hearing
body cams on the construction workers and doing all the new construction?
councilors and the manager listened to them, but
This
also
is
listened to
exactly
us.
like when they sent out
housing
the
two big issues.
the stimulus
Well, there's a
checks
lot of issues. Housing and
for
childcare
COVID, and I was
are
like,
some of the
I
biggest
should
issues.
probably get a new drone, right? I crashed my drone, so.
But
Hey,
no,
remember
putting
when
20
Mo
million aside
Bergman
for
tried to get
housing
the city to
is
spend
very
COVID
important.
money on
And this is gonna
one-time
be- it's been a big
payments
issue ever
for
since COVID
cops, and
started. It's
then
gonna be a big
no
issue
one
going
ever said
forward.
anything about that again?
People's rents don't get out of control as we come
Like
back.
that was like a pretty
Protected,
transparently
but the,
craven bid for
homeowners,
like the
the,
police union support
the landlords also
and
have
everyone
opportunity
anywhere,
to
and
make
that's
sure
not going to
that,
happen.
A moment
residents
after the
stay in
election,
their
he stopped
premise
talking about
by
it
using
forever.
this money. It also talks about community organization projects and programs, $10 million, which addresses a lot of the community-based programs here in the city of Worcester, which includes human services, food security, child care, and transportation. Then it goes on, there's a number of other things here, local business assistance and marketing. Businesses,
Nanny.
we've mentioned it several times.
Wow. Oh, Joe, thanks.
We're getting Harper?
We're getting some Harper.
Business, trying to recover.
We're gonna give Worcester resident Bill Shana $22 for a couple long boys at Burger King.
One of the things,
Hey, Bill, Kevin Kassan is saying that Mo's money for cops is in the plan.
No, is it? Did I miss that?
Today on Green Island.
Must have been when you were looking for your pen.
The whole city.
No, I read the thing. I didn't see that.
This has to be done right.
All city workers.
Oh boy, you guys ready for a doozy?
For a community that is
Lit.
that the mixed community.
Oh boy.
And the big thing here too, and people, there's also $10 million just left out, and people got to understand.
All city workers. So
you did mention before that
not just cops.
Money coming from the
but cops. Wink.
Yes, I do have a preferred type of pen. It's a Pilot G2.
What number?
I don't know.
So this has got to be flexible in some sense. So this money is going to move. So if somebody
there's no number on here.
It's right.
It's $10 million.
No, I snapped that part off.
Mine is Uniball Onyx in honor of my brother, Uniball.
Oh, that's premium pay. Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
A 7. A 7 is the best type of G2.
That. So you get the $10 million. We got money.
I like a G6.
Replace some of that money and move monies around. People have to remember that has to be encumbered by 2024 and spent by 2026. And that's not easy sometimes to spend millions of dollars. As we
great show.
The block grant money, all money comes back. We don't want to be giving any money away to the federal government. This is why this is part of a council community effort, administration, to make sure we're all on the same page. And I think by setting up the community and the working groups,
the ambulance is coming for the old lady finally.
Allocated, that we put some type of mechanism in place where We have a lot of people do
They're
great
coming
work here in the
for
city of Worcester.
Ed
Might not
Augustus
be
because he has
equipped
too many bucks in
to
his head.
handle a check of over $7 million. And, so if that happens, we need some type of financial or some type of oversight that people who need help.
I wish.
and need that
I know you
much
can't
money,
do this, but I wish
want,
the Keebler
and
was
also,
kneeling.
and also, you had mentioned too, just to get the word out to the communities that they can apply for this money once we have that set up here in the city of Worcester. What I've learned over during COVID was how much
I stand
we
for the
try,
flag and kneel
whether
for
it
my
be
dad.
money from the federal
And
government,
cookies.
money from the federal government, or other funding. People never understand or never really hear what we're doing. So this is where it's going to be probably incumbent
I
on the
wonder
council
why.
and the community to get the word out once we have the system in place to apply for the money, so that everybody has an opportunity to apply for these buckets that are available. And Mr. Manager and
All right.
staff. who
New game.
attended
Drink.
all the meetings, and along with the councilors.
Drink every time I say bucket.
The impact it's going to have will be profound for years.
When they say bucket, we say fuck it.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm in. I'll crack it.
Administration as we move forward. Thank you.
Also, if you don't drink alcohol, drink crafty kombucha. Even if you drink alcohol, drink crafty kombucha.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
What's the best crafty
Just
kombucha to
wanted
pair
to,
with
to begin
Burger King?
by
With a long boy?
The process. I know that there were some concerns in the beginning of all this.
I want to hear what Christian has to
Yeah,
say.
me too.
I very clearly and publicly stood in support of increased allocations for housing and the Affordable Trust Fund. Upwards of 20% or more, and I'm particularly appreciative of the responsiveness of the administration.
I cannot wait to get along.
One of the
Let's wrap this up.
goals of this is transparency, as noted by the administration, and I think that we are going to continue to move, even in the new term, towards more transparency and community involvement, and this is once again a indication of that. Part of all of this ARPA funding is to advance equitable policies. We talked about the equity lens and advance anti-racist policies. That's part of the language in all of this. And, as it relates to that equity lens that we were talking about, I'm just curious and want to ask the administration, how will that lens be quantified or qualified in these different areas?
He wanted to say bucket so bad.
So we have housing, we have affordable housing trust fund, and I think part of this is obviously being responsive to the community. But as we start to move forward with allocations and having these folks that are providing oversight, do their part in all of this, how will we as a city and how will we as a council be appraised of and keep track of that equity lens and to what degree it's being applied?
We're just going to read the Facebook police union page, keep score that way.
Yeah. We've asked the chief diversity officer to help us develop the application that any of the potential fundees would fill out, and they would explicitly put in the application whatever
Ginger
project
hibiscus
or,
hits.
Initiative they're looking for funding.
Crafty
is going to
kombucha. Get yourself a
communities of
bucket of
color,
that.
Parts of our city that have been disproportionately.
A Boynton bucket.
By the COVID
Crafty
pandemic.
kombucha.
Oh, that would be
Arts and culture
incredible.
Community, it could
Mhm.
be housing, could be the mental
A
health.
kombucha cocktail?
services. You'll have to explicitly
Yeah.
say
Could
that.
fucking hit.
And I'll be looking for a representative group of residents who could be
Ginger
part of
hibiscus
these
and
committees who
vodka.
will help vet and score these.
I want
That's a party.
a rum
Public.
bucha.
Ooh.
They'll make recommendations to me. I'll send them back to the council. People will
And
see
ignore them.
who's getting funded for how much. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I would propose to report to the council and by extension to the community twice a year. Who got the money? who was it impacting?
That is
it having
not
the impact that we want it to have.
an
And then
equity review of how this
decide,
money is being
is it going in
spent.
the right
He's just
direction?
saying,
Do
"Oh
want
yeah, we have an
what's
equity
the
review.
direction
I'm
to
going to
spend
update
area
the
of
council
efforts,
twice a year on how
where
this
the
money's
money's
getting
going and
spent."
whether it's having the impact. So those
Shut the
mechanisms
fuck
are
up,
part of
man.
this
You suck.
recommendation that I think will
A
make sure that
ginger
the
lime.
equity
That could be
lens
great.
is actually being delivered.
Ginger lime with
as
rum
quickly
sounds good,
as
Matt.
time as possible as these decisions are made. And again, it won't be me making these decisions. It won't be the council making these decisions. It'll be residents making these decisions.
It'll be me whispering in people's ears to make the decision for me.
It'll be people I've appointed.
This will give us an opportunity to 25 to 30 more.
It'll be all my Manchurian candidates.
In the process and help us
Yeah.
sort through the many applications that have come forward.
Thank you. These unprecedented funds and these unprecedented
Yeah, that's
opportunities that are coming with
weekly
these
story.
funds also create challenges. And for me,
Well, thankfully,
the
it's a
most
relatively
important
small
aspect of
portion,
this
so it'll be pretty
is that
easy to
this is
account for.
flexible funding. And I think touched upon that earlier. The mayor touched upon it as well. And just want to reemphasize that these funds must be flexible. You know, I think that there's a number of folks that have pet projects. I've mentioned, you know, my support of.
I had to write 12
rules.
pages of things just to get $5,000 for an artist grant.
Money in order to
12 pages about why I deserve that.
access.
I'm gonna comment in the
Allow
chat right
for
now and just be
increased
like, Richard
classes
Cipro,
and
shut
things
the
of that
fuck up
nature. We have one
challenge.
pool here in the city. There's other councilors that have their items.
All right, let's see how
they're
that
pushing
goes.
For. And I think as we move
There's
forward, we
so
will
much
be
oversight.
flexible.
There's so much
Things
oversight.
that also kind of jump to
I had to
mind
vouch
is,
for you for a $5,000 check.
I had to ask
that
you
as
and
intentional as
a
possible,
bartender
we should be with naming
to write a
where these
recommendation
monies
for
are
me.
going and how we are expending them. We know that BIPOC communities were disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. I'm not sure to what degree our tribal native communities have been impacted. I don't know if we've tracked that or not. But that's something that I think about in terms of all of this. And as a social worker, I know that the mental health challenges that were discussed earlier.
I don't think he has.
They are manifested.
He was a soldier
all
than
over
a
the
cop,
place
as far
with
as I know.
adults, with children, impacting newborns and
I'm
infants.
playing with guns.
And when I look at some of the funding, you know, I certainly would like to see some increases in
There
the
you go.
funding.
Perfect
that way.
point, main Mom.
Bingo.
You know, I hope that.
Yeah, that was a
ongoing
really fun
consideration will
and
be given
definitely
there. I
not
know that
racist
the
time in
Mayor's
Worcester
Mental Health
politics.
Task Force, Commissioner.
When we
Castile,
let Michael Gaffney
and
kill
those folks
the
all have that
Mosaic
in
Cultural
mind.
Center, that's really
But as a-
fucking.
as
He
a
got to do his own
local
little
practitioner, I just
acorn.
wanted to kind of mention
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With respect to renters and homeowners assistance, as mentioned, I think by some folks who testified today, folks are hurting.
I have a 4 next to my
challenging
name on
for all.
Facebook.
If you could just speak a little bit to,
Oh, yeah, I
know
do.
there's some funding put aside there for.
I have no idea.
Housing.
Lost
There's
the
some
password
funding
to
put
his previous
aside
3
there
accounts.
for first-time home buyers and down payment assistance. If you could speak a little bit to some of the thoughts and feedback that was received relative to folks who are renting and landlords in particular. Are you able to share a little bit about that through the chair?
Oh,
Mr. Manager.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. That's
Throw
right,
the
there's a total of
chair.
$28 million that's recommended for various housing initiatives. I should mention that in the legislation the governor signed earlier this week, the legislature proposed and the governor signed $500 million throughout the Commonwealth. And Worcester, of course, being the second largest city, will get our share of those dollars in addition to the $28 million that I'm recommending here. So that is a substantial amount of dollars that are going to flow into multiple areas of housing need. But just to quickly run through,
$28 million
to
to reopen Maurice
establish the
Camp.
Affordable Housing
Done.
Trust Fund, which
You're
is
done.
something that the administration had recommended.
I need a
number of months
cartoon
ago.
shirt of the
Committee,
1993
and it'll
Phoenix
be
Suns.
established, and hopefully we'll start
Stat.
appointing people to that trust fund come January. We're recommending $15 million go into that trust fund to be distributed by the trust fund committee. Owner-occupied housing rehabilitation, we all know in many of our older neighborhoods, predominantly three-decker neighborhoods, but they could be two-family, single-family homes where we have owners who just have not been able to keep up with repairs. Maybe they have a unit or two in their building that they haven't been able to rent because it's not up to code, or they have other issues that have not allowed it to be participating in the housing needs of our community.
I thought Connie Luke's was selling off most of her three-deckers.
What those property owners, getting those units fixed up, families, individuals into those units. It's a lot cheaper to do that than it is to build, housing from the ground up.
Yeah.
And that also stabilizes neighborhoods with some of these properties that have fallen into disrepair. Often
I went to St. John's. People are doing fucked up shit there all the time.
Home ownership development. This is a big one. I know.
Yeah, it's run by the Catholic Church.
Very well.
There was a kid who one day at school just took a bunch of Klonopin and couldn't stand, and other students were carrying him to his classes, and no one said a word.
He got a 4 on the AP test.
I think he went to Brown.
We've done this in a number of
I did 2 years at St. John's and then 2 years at Doherty. And yeah, when I got to Doherty, I was just like, really? This is it? This is all y'all are doing? It was like, people are shocked. You're smoking weed and doing acid? Like, dude, they're doing heroin and cocaine in class just to stay awake.
And it's their parents.
They had a narc teacher at St. John's when I was there. They had a fake teacher to bust up like the drug sales.
21 Jump Street, did you?
They did. I swear to God.
$4 million.
We had a kid who was there who was dealing coke, got upside down with the guy he was buying from, and he finally got arrested for holding up a package store with a shotgun for cash to pay off his supplier. Wild.
Sick.
He went to business school.
Go Pioneers.
Creating more home options for families, individuals who are experiencing homelessness. They may be couch surfing, they may be in encampment, they may be in a shelter. We want them in housing. Lead paint abatement. We know we have an old housing stock. A number of units can't be rented to young families with children because there's lead paint. We want to do
is that true?
That's interesting.
Lead paint out of those units. So
Alex Zakaria, before he went to St. John's, he was running the nativity school in Worcester. And
that's a good rumor.
Yeah, that's a really good rumor.
I love that.
Down payment assistance is another thing that the council really urged. The idea of $10,000.
They just found a new way to do nepotism.
First-time home buyers. All of the benefits that come from building equity.
Are they going to have a subscription dance to court the new superintendent?
Dude, okay, full disclosure, my son goes to St. John's.
That's what I thought.
And he actually went to the subscription this past weekend. And like when the envelope came, I had to try to explain to him, like, I was on the list of people who weren't allowed to be invited to
Me too.
Right? Like,
wasn't
not on the invite list. I was on the list of people that could not be a guest at the event.
They had a meeting. I was told my friend's father was on the committee, and they had a meeting specifically about me.
Can't afford flood insurance. Expensive because their properties flood so frequently.
I was there at the time. I never went to a single dance until senior prom, and I was there for about an hour.
Save their investments.
My uncle let me drive his really nice car to prom, and I spent the whole night driving it around because it fucking rules.
So GT Automotive, like the subscription dance, is this really bizarre thing that's it's gone on forever in Worcester, but it's like it's a private board that they meet every year and they put together a list of who gets. It's basically like the Worcester version of a debutante ball.
Exactly. It has racist roots.
Yeah, and I mean it kind of their list starts usually with St. John's and Notre Dame, and then it spills over to the other Catholic schools. And
it's crazy that there's a committee that has a list of all of the kids' names in the city.
Yeah.
There's been outreach to various community groups.
I had no idea about that. That is wild.
It was just this past Saturday at Union Station. So, I mean, that was probably the super spreader event of the Black Tie super spreader event of the season.
Mr.
Anyways,
Chairman, I
Now,
thought
Brendan,
multiple meetings
what
with-
kind of shit is your kid
as
into? What kind of
potentials
drugs?
for the
yeah, shockingly, he's probably listening to me. Kind of boring, to be honest with you, by my standards. And I guess I'm okay with that because my parents had to spend a lot more money on lawyers and whatnot when I was his age. So
Coalition, lots of different. Anybody who's asked for a meeting with me has gotten a meeting with me. I've spent a lot
That's
of
not true.
time not only listening.
I call
to
it
the
once a
formal
week.
sessions, but listening to anybody who wanted to come in and talk and advocate and try to take all of that.
Can we get, Brian, should we go? I want to get a Woot Nanny meeting.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
And,
you should give us
Mr. Chairman, I know we're ending here. for
$28
my
million.
time. Just want to mention, as it relates to technical assistance for small businesses and the monies allocated, the $550,000 from the Minority and Women Businesses Enterprise Fund. I hope that as we move forward, those funds will be flexible in an upwards trajectory. And want to say thank you for the parks improvements at Tacoma, Macaulay Field, I can't speak. Mulcahy Field, Grant Square, Vernon Hills, South Worcester, Bell Pond, all of that is so very important. But it's also, I think for communities of color, the Black community, folks want to make sure that equity is there, and this process and the commitment of the city manager.
We'd have to get it from ARPA funds. So
I think will help serve that end. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we can.
I'm glad Christian's just asking questions in general. I mean, who knows? It doesn't really, but it just proves that he's thinking about it, and
forward.
no one else is.
No one else had a single question about this.
No, it was only Christian.
Holy
Senator
fucking
Moe
shit,
was in
dude.
favor, opposed, so ordered.
Holy shit.
The next item is a 90.
Oh, these guys.
point
What? These guys are
4B.
jabronis. I'm taking a
This
nap.
is transmitting communication about the recommendation.
Don't
of
lose your
school
pen
safety
again.
Task force on the removal of the school resource officers. And thanks.
Try to go quick, Mr. Chairman. I do want to first thank the task force for the many hours that they put into helping us make the recommendations, do the research that are before you tonight. I think we had a good cross-section of folks, the chief, the superintendent of schools, parents, principals, community members, and I want to give a special shout out to Assistant City Manager Eric Batista, who really led that effort and worked with our partners in guiding that through today. I think we did a very nice job making sure that we had something.
I'm doing work. I'm what? I'm working.
I'm working here.
I'm working here. I'm taking notes.
Recommendations a number of months
What?
ago.
The artist in
Give our
repose.
students and the safety of the
I'm
staff
drawing
in
Ed
school
like one of my French girls.
never be had to be first and foremost.
You said it before me.
Set recommendations that does that makes sure that we have the safety of our students and our.
It's like the Big
staff
Lebowski.
And visitors to the schools in the forefront, but goes about it in a different way. And I think the set of recommendations that are here, or actions, I should say, that are here, I think are going to accomplish that. I know the school
This
committee.
SRO plan is just
tonight
taking
will
the
be having a
cops
similar
that would be in the
conversation,
schools
things that are in their
and just
area of
having them hover
responsibility.
around the schools.
And we will, as we
Yeah, they're like the
Instead of actually
Dementors.
getting in the schools.
The Dementors outside of Hogwarts, just trying to suck your soul when you come around.
Yeah.
It's like it's certainly an improvement. I will say, like,
Yeah.
as opposed to them being in the halls. But it's
They're just going to be sitting, idling, burning city gas in their car for 8 hours.
Yeah, right.
That's what we should, because Worcester has an idle law. We should be calling that in. We should make a huge stink out of that to the next council.
Yeah, the whole plan
Also-
just skirts around the idea that 911 is actually a thing, and
Yeah,
that
right.
anyone in a school can call it.
Yeah, but they take so long.
Also, like, shit happens at these schools all the time with officers there that they don't
Mayor Petty.
ever have any
Yeah,
involvement in
Chair,
because
and,
Totally.
I just want
like
to thank Eric Batista and committee. This is a committee that
Cops never stopped my AP English teacher from calling me a faggot in class.
They had to be done right.
Jess had one of her kids walked off from school and just was gone the whole day, and no one ever, like, the SRO sitting in the parking lot didn't find.
Was he white?
Eric Batista really stepped
No.
up, so
That's
why I
why.
thank him, because this is a complicated issue, an emotional issue, and Eric did a great job on this. So, Mr. Batista, thank you. And
man, everyone's just kissing Eric's ass tonight, huh? You did a great.
Eric Batista, he's so handsome.
Mr. Batista. Oh, Mr. Batista, you did such a great job. Oh, Mr. Batista.
He's already gone over why we need to do this, and we don't need to go into that, but there's several reasons why. It was the number one issue, I think, of NAACP in the country, not just here in Worcester, Massachusetts, but the country. And
the reason why you got rid of cops in schools is because the state law change made it illegal for cops to narc on kids.
We need to change the law.
You guys don't talk about that.
And a lot of thought.
That's literally the reason.
I'm just going to reiterate what the manager said.
But Eric Batista was behind that as well. So thank you, Eric.
Oh, Mr. Batista. Oh, Mr. Batista. Thank you so much.
Oh, Mr. Batista, you're so handsome. You're my favorite of Ed's boy band.
Yeah.
How sad do you think Ed was when Jake Sanders got married?
And that just
yeah, I mean, all of his boys gone. Eric.
And it talks about the MOU. The MOU is a 6-month MOU that will be given for January through June, and that will be it'll be done by the school committee superintendent and the police department, and that will come back. And after
Joe Petty's public comments are always like,
done, there'll be a review process.
Somebody reading something, dimly understanding it, and then still trying to fill like 3 minutes talking about it. Just like, and one more thing is there's this thing called MOU that the manager outlined.
And training right now, I think the police are in training right now, depending on who the chief assigns to this. It could be different people, I guess, than what we're doing now. And my understanding is with this 4.
Cut to them training. It looks like one of those ISIS training videos.
Because there's just like
they're back in the backs of Toyotas.
They're at a shooting range, but like all the shooting range things are just e-boys and e-girls.
To the mayor.
Just like 17-year-old Zoomers.
Looking at
like,
one that we're
they're anime fuck pillows.
training 2 others.
Dude, look at this fit.
Sean,
look at this mask fit.
Pillows. You don't just fuck them, okay? You commit to them.
Right now, 5 comprehensive high schools covered, so those 5 comprehensive high schools are covered.
The new precinct model,
dude, on or off, buddy? Come on.
He looks like the London constables. You know, they like have the chin strap that goes like right here on those hats.
Yeah, I wish he was as silent as them.
They'll be working. Sign them and use them for whatever they need, other than.
I think if they're gonna figure out a way to get SROs back in, what they need to do, any SRO has to pass all the classes as well. They have to.
You have to Billy Madison it.
Yeah.
People have asked me this. I want to make sure that it's clear on what we're doing. And in training, like you said, you're going through the training process right now. And this is important. Increased strategy.
Travis, I wish you said that.
Put that in the chat.
Travis said his face looked like a plow.
To make sure that this is done right.
I want the Homer Mr. Plow jacket, but it's
part of this, and also creating the community partnership.
Mr. Plow face.
That's one thing. How you balance the community partnership to make it so easy if you can get some of the community partners taking care of our children who need their help and get into the schools and figure out how to do that safely and legally. It's part of the issue.
We want
all of the things.
We want a police officer to walk each kid individually into the school, sit him down in his classroom, and take attendance.
I live in Burncoat. I see these people whining about this SRO thing all day, every day. The things that they're worried about, because every time you disagree with them, they're like, "Well, just wait till your kid is in school and there's a fight." Like,
where I think
everything that they're worried about doesn't get solved by having an officer in the school, and everything that they're concerned about could be better addressed if anytime that it was an issue, they voted for people that
Parents,
would
teachers,
increase
and
funding
community
for schools.
members, and,
That's
really
it. That's all you have to do
really
is
help
vote for
explain
somebody that will increase
what we're
funding
doing here,
for
and I
schools,
support this
and
100%.
almost all
It's
of these
the right
problems will
thing to
go away.
do.
Not
It's
100%,
gonna have an
because
impact.
14-year-old kids fight with
Power-
each other.
positive impact.
That's just what
And, I think
that's what it is.
I
like,
trust the
but
chief and the police department.
if they're so concerned about, I mean, that's why it's bullshit. It's because they're not really concerned about it. They just want to win the issue.
Community group that was put together.
I honestly can't tell if people really do buy into security theater stuff to the point where they actually do, like, really sheltered people think that just having a guy in a badge with a gun in the area makes things safer.
Thank you.
No, I think they just like they want like jobs.
I mean, there's that, but I mean, I don't know. I run across a fair number of people who I think buy into the theater line, and just no matter what you show them or explain to them, yeah, they just live in this deluded universe where they're somehow safer when there's a cop around.
I feel
Thank you, Mr.
anxiety
Chairman.
when there's a cop around. Usually,
Just wanted to
I mean, it
begin
was
by
like 2 weeks
saying,
ago, an air
because you were
marshal
doing
got into a
something
fist
crazy.
fight
This
on a plane, right? Like, shit happens. Yeah.
Has been intense. I
Yeah.
know that the
Yes.
task force
can
meetings have
you
been
change that to
intense,
no?
With everyone trying to
Because they don't
ensure
think
that
they
they're acting in the
know in
best
their heart
interest
of hearts that Worcester is accessible.
Well, I mean,
students,
and you look
parents,
at, like,
and
you know, a lot of these people, like
Um,
Burncoat, for instance, is
That being
not.
said,
They don't consider themselves part of the city.
we stand here
They don't.
today.
They're not invested in the city at all. They didn't
Right.
buy their houses.
With
They
police officers
inherited their
no longer
houses from their
being in our
parents. So it's
schools
not even like they
as of
have to
December
deal with, like,
22nd.
they bought into this city. No, they're just
This is
they
something
wish
that the
that they were
Black
part
and
of
Latino
Holden,
community
and
and
they
other folks in the
hate
community
anyone that
have been
doesn't
advocating
look like them.
for years. And with regards to
Chris is doing a victory lab. This is kind of nice.
safety, school safety, the one thing we know from discussions on school safety,
The plan does include adding
that when you
counselors
invest in
too,
people,
which is
you
cool.
invest in mental
Not
health.
that not that many, but like
The
still.
outcomes
Something.
improve.
Yeah.
We know that, and I've emphasized as well throughout my advocacy on this issue, is really to try to get away from the anecdotal and focus on the research. What does the research say? What does the data say? We know that the research says that increased mental health, social emotional learning, increasing school adjustment counselors leads to safer schools. We know that over on the school side, school committee, superintendent, and others have really focused on establishing social emotional curriculums, making sure to the best of their ability that schools are a place where kids can disclose and feel comfortable sharing sensitive information. And really the devil's in the details. When we talk about MOU, that's the next step here. With regards to all of this, the MOU, what will it say? What will it look like? It looks like here on the action steps that the task force will continue to be a part of some of that. That's some of the responsibility for them. This is a unique situation where we have the city council and this body involved in issues pertaining to the schools to a degree, and it's certainly a dance. But I think with respect to the recommendations here, it clearly outlines who it's recommended will be involved with and to what degree. As a father of 2 children in Worcester Public Schools, this is definitely important. We stand here today, the 9th anniversary of Sandy Hook. And we know that parents are still hurting, our nation's still hurting. And one of the things that a couple of constituents reached out to me about was that very fact. And I did want to take the opportunity to mention that all of those things were explored and discussed on the task force. One of the community events that I held along with the Citizens for Juvenile Justice and a host of panelists.
They haven't addressed it yet.
Experts, from students to former principals, to folks, mental health practitioners, was that the evidence shows that when it comes to things of that nature, that the red flags that were there,
They have not done the district thing yet.
was to do mostly to
We have
a
to
lack
assume
of
it's going to get
bandwidth.
pushed again.
And one of the
But-
things
I
know
would,
from the
I
task
would
force
think
meetings
so.
is that
Yeah, we're pushing 2 hours right now. Everyone's going to get their blood sugar is going to be low. They're going to be testy again.
They got to
I
go to
think-
the Boynton.
I think Christian
access
really
to
feels like
mental health
it's something that he would
services
want
is
to
paramount.
have
And I don't
after
know
the
if we have additional
inauguration.
funds in that
Yes.
$6 million allocation for ARPA
That's
money.
true.
But if there's some way we can figure out how to enhance access to mental health treatment for our young folks who are suffering from trauma,
By the numbers,
would be
that
important because
would be
the trauma
looking at
to
the agenda
prison
here.
pipeline is a real thing. It's evidence-based, it's researched. And I really want to particularly
Anyone
give,
keeping an eye on Cipro
kudos
comments?
to Eric
Oh
Batista.
yeah, especially right now. Jesus.
He's not.
given
I
the
mean,
data,
it doesn't look like he's saying a word.
Dr.
Nobody's really
Laurie
commenting.
Ross, who played a significant role.
They
in
got
this
sleepy.
As well. And
They're all
really
at Burger King.
outlining, for the council,
Those geniuses.
for parents, for educators, for members of the school committee's elected body, really not just strategies, but a plan.
There's
that
like
includes
2 agenda items in
evidence-based
between this and if
research
they'll
and
talk
action
about school
steps,
committee
Mr.
redistricting.
I guess my
Getting sort
question
of towards
to
the end of the
chair
meeting
is,
here. So.
with respect to the MOU, it says here developing a comprehensive MOU in summer of 2022. Am I reading that wrong? Does that mean that the MOU will come in the summer, or that's the 6-month mark? Through the chair.
Throw the chair.
Mr. Batista.
Oh, there's our handsome boy.
End of the hour.
Through the chair. The MOU, we want to develop the MOU right away, beginning. We want to make changes to the current MOU for the 6-month period of time. The more comprehensive one will be determined in the summer.
Ooh, a Paisley tie.
Have
Bold
big
move.
implications for the full effective year. And that's something
He's just
that
showing off
I
at this
think
point.
The task force, and based on our
chair.
conversation, we want to continue to monitor, evaluate. And that might be something that we may decide to continue to monitor, evaluate year after year based on the findings that we get.
yeah, he is.
Question
Yeah,
to
I
the
think we
chair.
like to admit
What
that.
responsibilities
No,
does this
but he is. Sorry.
body have left after this moves forward? I know that we have a committee on education where things can be sent to. We often convene in duality and in conjunction with the school committee on our committee for education. But outside of that, what terms of action steps, what responsibility does the city council have moving forward, if any?
Mr. Manager.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, of course, the council oversees me and my administration, and so if things aren't going in the direction the council wants, certainly there's opportunities to give me feedback. When we put the budget together, if there are other supports that we determine are needed, working with the school department, that's another opportunity for the council to be involved in providing the resources to the Worcester Public Schools to make sure the supports that are talked about in this report are there. Other than that, the deployment of the police department is my responsibility, and I've said how we plan to move forward. This council has voted to support that move.
Nice to hear him say that out loud. That it's actually his responsibility.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, the council could ask for something to be revisited or
Um,
another issue to be looked at. But
What is required if they want? If the city council wanted to remove Ed Augustus, what would be the method?
Going back to some of the research.
Outside of contract renewal?
Through his contract, yeah.
They have no
that in
like mechanism
200
besides
incidents of gun
It would have to be
violence,
like with
not
cause,
some,
so there would have to be a reason for it outside of the
findings,
contract.
Yeah.
going back to
So they
2018,
essentially
and
don't
two
have
times,
oversight
only two
over
times
him.
were
Like,
school resource
he
officers
Just in
pretended to
terms of
say.
renewing his contract. Yeah.
intervened.
When's that
when
come up?
the
Soon?
chief spoke about
2045?
Just
trainings,
next year. Next
I know
year.
that
Oh, is
from
it?
this-
Okay,
these
I think
documents
that's
here from
I
some
think
of the task
what
force
we should
meetings
do
that
is
our
start
folks
a
had not been
huge
trained
push
since
to just fire
2015,
him.
since some of them
Let's see how much
began.
traction we can get on
And
fire
I'm
Ed
just wondering through
Augustus.
the chair.
But he brought us the
training
freaking
that
Woosocks
the-
little baseball
new
guys.
folks that are coming on, and
Even if he was
and,
doing a good job,
the
I think it would be funny to
folks
make
that
a
have
push for
been
that.
doing some of that
But
work.
I, frankly,
should always be
Is there
making a push to
commitment
fire everybody.
Sort of
Just for
service training for these folks and
just to
the
keep them
training that
honest.
they're receiving.
The better you're doing, the more
is
of a
that
push there should be to fire
sort
you.
of the latest in the field.
Chief?
Yeah, you really can't.
Yeah,
it's
Throw the
abysmal.
chair to the council.
Throw the chair.
The new bill, if you will, by law, they need to be trained in a certain way. So
The mask thing is so funny. All the different instances of him having a mask is very
follow-up
fun.
in service will be done yearly, and to the specs that.
Do you think he has any idea what a mask does? He just knows he's supposed to have one on him, but like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, the Israelis didn't teach him that.
Council on that, on the trainings and what have you, when the MOU is done, so that we can send that to perhaps to committee for appropriate oversight. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, he's
I want to
absolutely
commend,
not doing that at all.
the chief and his partners for their participation and focus on making sure that his officers
good.
have
I
the
like that, Brad.
parameters within
I really like
which
that, Brad.
they must operate. But that MOU is definitely part and parcel of that, and certainly necessary. So kudos, and I look forward to voting this through. I think we're really going to have the opportunity to lead the Commonwealth in this. We know that in Boston, they decommissioned their police, their school resource officers, in other parts of the state. They've done other things, but I think we are going to be on the forefront here due to the leadership of the mayor, the city manager, this task force, Eric Batista, this council, and our broader community. Groups like Black Families Together, NAACP, et cetera. So I'm looking forward to voting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Rose?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank everybody for their hard work on this report. In February of 2021, when the chief and the city manager came forward and said that they were proposing to pull SROs out of the school, I supported it. I think Councilor King and I are the only two current counselors who have children currently in the Worcester Public Schools. I had one
Evo,
recently.
you're right. I just looked them up. You're so right.
And one in middle school. So when the proposal came forward, it wasn't a decision that I was very thoughtful about, and it wasn't a decision made in haste. I trust the manager and certainly trust the chief with my own kids' safety. I reviewed this plan. I think it's terrific. I think this plan will work, and I trust this plan will work. Having worked in the public schools for several years and as a trauma consultant around the country, this enhanced collaboration around training is super effective, and we're using some really solid evidence-based practices here that have shown measures around the country as part of its efficacy. So again, an incredible plan. I want to thank Eric for his leadership. I want to thank all the various groups who came together to offer their feedback as part of the plan, and I certainly look forward to it being executed. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So we can send that to education, and they can have probably a finance meeting or between the two education committees at the schools and also the city council subcommittee. Councilor Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We might as well hear from one city council who didn't initially support removing the SROs out of the Worcester Public.
We might as well.
What else are we gonna do? I'll speak for myself. I can't speak for my colleagues, of course, but why back, I guess it was back in the spring when we took that vote, why did I vote to retain the SROs in the public schools, the resource officers, the police officers? And obviously I did that because I'm a product of my life experiences. Not only a graduate of the Worcester Public Schools, K through 12, I'm proud of that, a long time ago, of course, but that's the only place I know that my parents would have ever sent me is the Worcester Public Schools. But I wound up teaching, in the city, my first 17 years at Doherty High, and then maybe 13 or 15, I guess. 15
Get to
or
the
16
fucking point,
after
Gary.
that.
What's going on, Gary?
Wachusett High, where I think for 30 years they've had a police officer in the high school. I know it's a different, clientele, different student body in Wachusett.
White trash.
Sounds much more affluent.
What's that mean, Gary?
In the city
Lots
of
of
Worcester.
wildlife meandering
And
through
then
the
I wound
halls.
up teaching the last few
Yeah,
years.
go
in
get
West
hunting
Worcester.
rifles.
Yeah, big buck
But as
hunter
a
at
teacher,
Wachusett.
I was always concerned about the safety of our students, the staff too, the administration, and so on. So, I was in the trenches. I know what it's like to teach. It was a while back, granted. It wasn't easy then and a lot more difficult now. But that's
I couldn't
where
imagine
Gary
teaching-
Rosen was in Verdun. Yeah.
not
I
upset
couldn't
about my
imagine
vote.
teaching with
Don't forget
TikTok.
my
I mean,
vote.
that's just, I don't even
I
get
thought
it.
it was the right vote to take. But that's over now. I realize that. That's behind us. And I spent time with this report looking through it.
Not because I think it was
As
wrong,
we've
but
heard
because the
tonight,
state law changed.
Many bright, capable, concerned folks from the community representing different groups, different organizations, school people, our mayor, our city manager, our superintendent of schools.
Hi,
They were
I'm
all
Gary
involved
Rosen. I
in
taught pickleball at
this
the
new
Worcester Public
plan.
Schools for 70 years.
And as I said, we're not going to turn back the clock and have school resource
I think we should
officers
take
in
all
the
these
schools,
school
and I
cops
accept
and
that.
put them all at the
Just
senior
want-
center so we
like
can hang
everybody,
out.
We all took that vote. Like all of
And I'll
us,
punch him in the
council,
stomach.
the administration, public. We want our children to be safe. We all agree on that. We all, want
Gary,
that.
what are you trying to
We
say,
find
bud?
in reading a report, I said, gee, there's a lot of good stuff here by a lot of good people. So I want to go on record now that maybe I took a vote 8 months ago or 6 months ago, whenever it was in the spring, but I'm all aboard now in supporting my colleagues in the administration, teachers in the public schools, the high schools especially.
Go Raiders.
The administrators, principals, and assistant principals, and the kids too, the kids.
Oh, yeah, the kids.
I
They
think
go to
this
school.
plan certainly can work and probably will work. And I will throw my
Probably will work.
behind me. Not again upset about the vote or regretting the vote I took in the past, but you can't live that way. You can't say, oh, I made that decision and I'm never going to change. That's ridiculous. So I spent time with the report. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good plan. I commend all those who are involved.
I courted, I dated the report.
And we'll find out.
What? Yeah, I know I stepped away for a minute, but what the fuck is he talking about?
Yes, I think
He's literally he's like apologizing for the vote, but then also being like, I stand by it at the same time.
So I'm looking forward to seeing
And
next year
sharing his memories from the
how
trenches
it
in World
turns
War
out,
One.
and I think we're going to be pleased with the results. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Gary.
So, are they?
Yeah, look, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Squeebo,
Yeah.
Squeebo, nice job.
What a pull.
Okay, the next is, and also
That's, like
inform
that's a
motions,
Doug Loves Movies poll right there.
report about training. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Where's Doug Gerton tonight?
Okay, next up is the mayor submitting a approval of the council.
Oh, he's here.
The
Doug's
attached
here.
annual calendar, the city council meeting for the
Thank God
calendar year
Doug's here.
2022. This is also subject to change as we go throughout the year, depending on the needs of the city.
All right, Ben,
So, those
thank
in
you.
favor,
We were
opposed,
concerned.
so ordered. And also transferring information communication concerning the recommendations and comments provided by the public participants.
Ben can't be an
Active
active commenter because he's too busy jerking off. Sorry,
Sorry,
Ben.
I was going to say,
But to this
Wow,
show, so it's okay. He's still engaged.
Ordered. We did 11.
I thought he was teaching Hank Stoles what Twitch is.
Oh boy.
He's picking up long boys for him.
Dude, I cannot wait to get a long boy. I'm literally going to as soon as
I just want to tell you, Bill, we were texting me and Sean and Travis. If we knew your address, there would be several long boys at your house right now.
I'm just holding it up like Simba in the chat. Long boy.
The drawing, and we get the feedback. We don't want to be too premature with this.
Oh yeah.
But certainly is something that we should discuss. But I'd like to table it. I'm not sure how many votes that takes, Mr. Chairman.
Takes 6 votes.
He's tabling it, huh?
Okay, Councilor Bergman.
Mr. Chairman, my motion is to file. We've had a number of us over the period of the last term have asked, or at least have filed orders to have questions regarding whether or not it's time to look at the charter again.
I do like most
And
tie.
certainly
I,
it's
I'm, I,
charter-related
I don't want to
items.
compliment him,
And, one of the items I had asked for when we asked for.
but the
charter
tie
was a
clip,
3-year
he's
term,
so
so I
bad at
asked
the
for
tie
a
clip.
2-year term.
Looks like he's
But
always
it's
trying to
some
strangle his
discussion about
tie.
Possible confusion. Well, once this new school committee election process takes place, we don't know whether there'll be confusion. I don't accept what some of the public speakers have said over the last 2 weeks, that the voters aren't smart enough to figure it out. And we certainly are well overdue. It's almost been 4 years for charter.
That's such a smug way to say
That's
that.
most
Yeah,
democratic
you
process.
dumb piece of
We've just
shit.
gone
Fuck
through
you.
an exception to that democratic process because of the lawsuit. But we need to look at charter review, not only just for this issue,
Just
but for the
ham-handed
terms of the
like
council,
political troll.
all
Like
sorts of
it's
other
so
things
bad.
have
Like,
been,
well, I think
haven't
the
been
voters are
addressed in
smart enough to
almost
figure out
40
anything
years.
they want.
We can certainly address this issue in the context of a much broader discussion regarding charter review. My motion would be to file.
Okay. Okay. See nobody. Council Rosen.
When I was writing the charter for the city, I thought that
if we want to align the city council similar to our new school committee structure, and that school committee structure is 6 district school committee members, 2 at large, and the mayor. So 6 and 3.
None of that Rhode Island bullshit.
The mayor's at large too, 6 and 3. Does that mean that we're looking at? Does this suggest that we should have 6 district city councilors and 5 at large, or 2 at large in the mayor? I'm just not sure of that. I hope we keep the 11 on the city council. So I thought we were going to, if we ever did this, it would be 6 districts like the school committee to eliminate a lot of confusion throughout the city when it comes to election season.
Posen, Rosen.
5 at large, keeping the 11. Is that what we're talking about, or is it not clear and it just hasn't been discussed?
That was a sneak preview, right?
It's not clear. Hasn't been discussed enough. I think that's the reason for the to table it. So I think we need a discussion here,
Right.
but I don't think it's unfair to the council in some respects unless we see the maps and see what what the lines are going to look like to have that discussion. And I guess the options are there's so many options we could do. We could do exactly mirror the school committee. We could eliminate 1 at large. Now I think I get that right. Now we give you an odd number, right? And
6-4 and the mayor. Is that what you mean? 6
There's
districts,
math.
4
at
large, and then the mayor.
Or you can add an at large too. So you could do both. So
we have a motion to table and a motion to file.
Yeah, table text precedent.
Okay,
Council of Elders.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We could do a pick 6.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the clerk, how was this voted on in the
Bottom with
MO
breadsticks.
committee?
Excuse me?
Was it a unanimous vote coming out of MO? I'm just curious what the vote came out of committee.
Through the chair to the council, I believe it was a chairman's order.
Okay.
This is a chairman's order.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Council Russell?
Just briefly, a point of order. Did I hear you correctly by saying that the motion to file was behind the motion to table?
Correct.
I thought it was always the other way around.
No, it's in the rules. Motion to.
Motion.
We can ask the clerk. He's got.
Motion to ocean, said the CC.
Mr. Mayor, I think
It's not the size of the order.
Order the motions.
It's the motion to the
on
ocean.
The table is number 4, and then to place on file with the clerk is number 6. I don't know if the solicitor has a different rule.
So which is it?
It's the motion to. I'm ruling.
I should watch Squid Game.
Well, he just said it.
That's good.
Number 4 on the
I think I'm gonna watch Squid Game, guys.
Based on the rules out in front of me.
Through the
Get a couple
chair,
long
motion to watch Squid Game.
Get a couple long boys, sit back and watch some Squid Game.
Based on Rule 27 on order of motion.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman.
The only
through you
Squid
to the
Game I ever
clerk,
seen
to
was
the
when
city
that octopus
solicitor,
was picking the
whichever
World
one
Cup
would like to
games, right?
respond.
All right, guys.
If this item is filed, how long could it be to bring it up in the future, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, George Russell, how long have you been on the city fucking council?
Oh, gee, I feel like
That time period will be the same time period that we're dealing with. Am I correct through you to the clerk?
Oh my God.
For
How do you
maps,
not know this
all
shit?
that kind of
we
stuff.
talked about this last time too. He is very concerned about this redistricting.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
Mr. Solicitor?
Through the chair of the council, it's work on the.
Now, I'm just a simple city lawyer from Worcester, Massachusetts.
We've got roughly 3 months.
Around the same amount of time. Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to.
Bill, do you recognize that guy in the back?
I was just about to ask that.
He's new. Hehe's new. He just started following us recently too, and he comes to comedy shows.
Is it Bill James?
Doesn't say.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Who's he writing for?
Take away.
He's freelance. That's what he says in his profile.
Okay.
With the school committee.
Well, I can find it.
If we're going to be true to the words of the agreement, the proper thing would be to file it, and at some other time, if we want to have that discussion, to have a separate discussion.
Okay. Council Wall?
Bill, how much do you think this new council changes this conversation?
Instead of nibbling around the edges as it relates to the charter. And I think this is one of those issues.
I don't know.
Obviously, it is related to the change we recently implemented in the
Good
election
question.
process for school committee. But I think if we are going to look at a one-off or, again, continuing nibbling around the edges, I think it would make sense to do a full charter review if and when that time comes and if and when the next council wants to go that route. So for that reason, I think it would be more prudent, at least in my viewpoint, to file. And then if at some point it makes sense to review the charter, I certainly would be in favor of that as a resident, but I would vote to file the order. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion to table, followed by a motion to that fails, a motion to file. So motion, Council King, prior to the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, this came before us by way of a chairman's order and a unanimous roll call. That being said, this also comes out of our consent decree, where we agreed that this body would duly consider. And from what I've heard throughout the process, when we were going through our executive sessions, when we came out to the floor in the council, part of that was transparency and community involvement. Part of the thought around tabling this particular matter.
We're talking about Burger King.
A little more time is mentioned. But also,
that's how I eat those long
this
boys.
now,
I nibble around the
waiting
edges.
90 days.
like corn on the cob.
And we're waiting for the legislation to come back, the home rule petition and the drawing of the lines. We'd be right up against that timeline without any public dialogue, without any public discussion. And tabling this will give us more flexibility with regards to transparency and public input.
He's Telegram, Brennan. His name is Marco Cardellano.
Premature.
Thank you.
We agreed to this again in the consent decree that we would duly consider.
his sweater, bad Cuban American, above average Italian American.
That's pretty
Take
funny.
it off the table and have discussions prior to the 90 days. That includes.
And he's working for Telegram. Yeah.
Although.
And he's saying he just tweeted he's stepping in for Steve tonight.
Our
and he looks pleased to be doing it.
In every single one, there was
It's
questions.
like laying
about,
across 3 chairs.
and statements regarding.
I can tell you, he doesn't like that Awundi any shows.
And that was specific.
He's watching right on the edge of his seat.
With school committee and with the city council. And there's a lot of questions here that would make for a great discussion, and we shouldn't be running from that. We as elected officials should be embracing that opportunity. And then once we've had the dialogue, make a decision if we're going to be supportive of that or not. So that's just the additional reasons for it. Again, it's part of the consent decree. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, where am I?
I don't get anything.
Mr. Chairman, I'm scared.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the solicitor. If the council voted to change
the chair, motion to tremble.
Tonight, wouldn't it have to be added to the home rule petition? Or do we have the authority just to vote it up or vote it down and change whatever we want?
This isn't Reddit.
Through the chair, if there was a
He's
decision
staring
made tonight,
daggers
we
at
could
George
do a
Russell.
petition going forward, or it could be done at a subsequent date.
And Mr. Chairman, through you to the solicitor, is it not true that the item dealing with the school committee change is already being drafted and getting ready to be presented is a home rule petition to Boston.
Through the chair, that's correct, yes.
Okay, so whether we have this discussion as a tabled item or as a new item down the road, we don't, last time I checked, unless something is different here, again, maybe, you know, I've been learning a lot of new things lately in the last.
Dude, George Russell, shut the fuck up.
Come on, buddy.
That we don't have the authority as a council to just vote this. It would have to go
through the chair to the solicitor. I was saving those for Christmas.
And if we change that at any time, whether it's a month from
It's
now
like he's
or
negotiating with his captors.
4 months from now, we'll require another home rule petition.
Or you could add to this one too if you want. We're not going to vote it tonight, but if you did.
The intent of including that paragraph in the consent decree was to consider include it with the home rule petition while we change the school committee.
Man, everyone, you guys are so good in the comments. It's really, but I like the three of you, but like sometimes just like one of the comments just kills me, and that one just right there kills me.
Stand back.
Yeah. This in a month, but so we will take a roll call. No, so the roll call is to table.
Just keep
first.
imagining Ralph Wiggum saying that.
First vote
Can we get a George Russell as Ralph Wiggum?
The next vote would be to file the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Put an APB out on a donut.
No. Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Murray Carlson?
No.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Rosen?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey?
No.
Councilor Wally? Motion fails 5-6.
Wow.
Okay, next we are going to.
Mr. Chairman, do we have a motion to file on the table?
Oh, I thought that failed. So yeah, right. Motion to file.
So the motion to table failed.
Failed, but now they're gonna file.
And file means
we're gonna vote.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor
Table
King?
means 90 days. File
Councilor
means
Carlson?
bye-bye.
Councilor Rivera?
No.
Councilor Rose?
No.
Councilor Rosen?
No.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Councilor Wally?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
What's Dean's?
No.
No.
Okay, the motion passes 6-5.
What's this?
Wow.
Okay. So we are going to table items.
That's very fucking sketchy.
Yeah, why do they want to file it so bad?
So I'm just. This is just a clean up.
So this is
tonight,
that's
so
the.
if you want to not take up, just leave it there. Okay, and we can go from there. Okay, I talked to council. Let me see. So first,
That's super sketchy. They're leaving so much of this
Get that
conversation
off
unsaid.
the table.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a file. If you want something wrong, we can discuss it later on.
It's very frustrating.
13C, 13B, we can leave on for now. 13.
Yeah, I need to talk to a couple of these people.
Yeah, I would like to hear more about that because it just I don't get. I mean, I get it, but I don't know why.
Right. So what just happened is they were debating whether or not to table or file in order that would make the city council districts the same as the new school committee districts.
Yeah.
The difference between tabling it and filing it is really not that much.
That stuff he feels.
But filing it makes it harder to bring up in the future.
Exactly.
I'll take that off since we already voted that.
Oh my God. I don't know.
So they were looking at the same math that we were talking about earlier and seeing what a month from now things would look like and worried that the decision would be made for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do take it off now.
Because that interesting that vote passes
take off the table
with the new city council pretty much.
13C.
Yeah. Christian King gets his way with the new city council for sure.
So what do they need to do to bring it back from the graveyard?
Well, they can just put a new order on.
Yeah.
Christian King at any time could put a new order on to
bring it back. The issue isn't dead.
It wasn't decided tonight at all. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if they file something, like, it doesn't prevent you from bringing the issue back up.
King.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Councilmember Carlson.
that specific order.
Councilor Rivera.
goes bye-bye.
Councilor Rose.
Yes.
Councilor Rosen.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor
They
Toomey.
do.
Yes.
Councilor Wally.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Motion is to file those items?
Yes, exactly.
Roll call.
Councilor Bergman.
Yes.
Councilor Caloria.
Yes.
Councilor King.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's
Councilor
certainly what
Rivera.
it's doing, is it's
Councilor
showing us the
Rose.
politics
Yes.
of it.
Councilor Rosen.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey.
Yes.
Councilor Wally.
Shows us
And Mayor
why we
Petty.
need to fire Ed Augustus
The motion is to
2022.
adjourn. Everybody all set? All those in favor?
Yeah, what was that hashtag?
That harsh gavel, and then Christian King just going, no. Brad, where is
Justify your contract challenge 2022.
There it is.
Okay, so the 6 votes against tabling it were, let me go in alphabetical order here. Let me get a list up. It was Bergman, Kenny Merrill Carlson, Donna Calorio, Gary Rosen, George Russell, and Matt Wally. I think I have that right.
That sounds right.
And that was the 6 votes against just tabling the discussions. And if it's tabled, that means that at like next week, you can take it off the table and talk about it again. But they decided not to do that, meaning that somebody would have to fire an entirely new order to get them to talk about it again. A source close to the event told me that Ed Augustus showed up to a library staff meeting and took a bunch of food and left. That's cool. Filing an order is not a big deal.
No.
It's so that's what makes this like a weird. It's a weird political flex to file something instead of table it.
But it kind of makes sense at this time of year because it's just going to be the new council that they get to fight with over it as opposed to this current group.
Yeah, but isn't that a bad political move then to look like you're trying to get rid of it as opposed to tabling it and just being like, oh, it's gonna come back.
But we know they're not good politicians.
I think for the folks that will end up being against it, they're mostly going to be at-large councilors, right? Like say Mo, right? Like it doesn't necessarily hurt Mo if they add district councilors, and it emboldens him with his supporters if it has an opportunity to be strong against it with the new crop of councilors that are likely to be supportive of it.
Yeah, and that's
George is clearly nervous about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why does Matt? Who gives a shit, Matt? Why?
Yeah. What? I don't know. What what are they doing? They're just showing the math, like a 6-5 vote.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, do we know what the maps are going to look like for?
No, we don't, because what happens now is the consent decree to change the school committee into a district-based system goes as a home rule petition to the legislature, has to get the governor's signature, and then it comes back to the city, and then the city can draw the map. So that's what Mike Traynor was saying was going to be about 3 months until we even see the maps.
Yep.
And then Joe Petty was like, well, we can take this up once we get a look at the maps.
Right.
But there was definitely some prior arrangement there for sure.
Yeah.
Of all these counselors moving to file it instead of tabling it.
Right.
Like that they all seem to independently, for some reason, come up with that idea. I mean, I wonder how that happened, right?
It's like written on the back of a fried pickle from the Boynton.
Yeah, right.
It was
so that
in
was
the bucket.
all. Yeah, that was
There's a message at the bottom of the bucket.
That was all pretty sketchy. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
What do we have any? I mean, I don't know if you guys like have any like, I don't know, knowledge of how I know just districts are drawn by, obviously like population size and all that stuff. If all of the districts in Worcester touch in the middle, would a new district could be created out of the center of that map, just cutting small pieces out of every district?
There actually is some weird possibility for that, where if you look at, so I think it's 01608 is all of downtown. That almost doesn't exist currently from a voter perspective. Like if you look at a census map, there's just nobody living down there.
It's like this building.
Yeah, and it's because that's where all of our office space and all of our Class A and B office space is down there. But it seems like the move has been towards more housing. So like there actually is the potential for having a more like downtown focused district seat as well, if you were to redraw maps based on population shifts as well as additions.
Yeah, because you could take an equal number of like residents out of each district and make a new district downtown,
especially over the next couple of years as more projects come online too. Like I mean, just where the 13-story apartment building where the Lucky Dog used to be, right? Like, I mean, just
the Table Talk.
Wildly, all of those units had registered voters in them. Like, there's potential to actually change the math for representation significantly.
And that fucks George Russell.
It sure does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's Bill. You would know this. It's not something I keep an eye on, but I don't think we actually adjust our district seats based on population. They're just lines drawn in the proverbial sand, right?
No, they are not adjusted. They're just there.
Yeah. So, I mean, if someone were to open that can of worms, I think it kind of would get weird for the district seats as they're currently drawn out.
Well, the proposal for the school committee districts is wildly different than the city council districts. So, like, it's like so different. Like, District 4 is pretty much District 3. District 6 is pretty much District 1. District 3 is pretty much District 5. District 5 is like 3, 4, and 5. And then District 1 is like 4, 1, and a little bit of 2, and also 3. It's like it's all over the place. And it's going to be so confusing for anybody to follow. And that's why Mo Bergman was so annoying tonight, talking about how like he doesn't think like voters are going to understand. And it's like, no, they're not, because it's like it's not simple. It's actually
I'm a school 1, but I'm a city council 4. It's
come on.
That's actually those are my actual numbers.
Mo Bergman, you go down to the senior center and explain that.
For real.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, that is, and there's some stuff happening too with the redistricting on the state side that I think complicates things more on a political level. But like, so my side of the city, if the current maps stay the way they are, it's Ann Goby is going to be moving in as the state senator for the western part of this chunk of Harley Chandler's seat, which, that kind of change. So yeah, but politically, a lot of stuff could actually be changing in the city where some new districting would probably not be the worst thing to come into play.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was kind of like a very weirdly intriguing end to an otherwise pretty boring meeting.
It was a lot of BK talk until the very end.
I know, and I'm still thinking about BK, and I got 2 hours to get over there, which is great. But I think that
they closed
there
at 4
to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say they closed 4 p.m. and
yeah,
they just left somebody there doing this when you roll up.
Yeah,
the nun lady's dead.
Yeah,
she's still in the manager's office, but she's dead.
We're getting word. Nun lady is still dead.
Steve Sargent, Senator of the Tree.
My computer's going to die any second.
Yeah, we should. I think we can leave it here for tonight. Great comments, everybody. We love you so much for propping us up every week. Brendan, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks again for having me.
They threw out the front door like Jazzy Jeff. We really appreciate you being here, Brendan. We love having you on. And hopefully, you'll be here next week. I don't know why I'm pretending like you're a special guest. You're just fucking here on now.
I'll be here. I have no life. I'm gonna be here.
Yeah. We really want to thank our sponsor, Crafty Kombucha, and Matt for all of his support. Please go get yourself some ginger hibiscus and some booze, baby. Yeah.
Bill, I still have this hat for you.
Oh, give it to me.
He wants the damn hat, Shaun.
Yeah. Come to your house right now.
Bill had
the long boys.
They fit right in the hat too.
It's a long boy holder.
You guys need to subscribe to Bill's Substack. Worcester
Yes,
Sucks.
please.
I love it. And an exceptionally good piece this week that I
Yes.
read while I was driving to work. Don't tell Steve Sargent. Couldn't help myself. I had to read it. So please subscribe to Bill's Substack. Let him just build his empire. Have more and more interns doing social media for him and buying Burger King and Pokemon cards. He deserves it. Damn it! Listen, if there's gonna be a new reporter sitting in the city council, we gotta make sure that Bill is the only fucking voice in town, baby. So we really love to have you guys. If you guys are on Twitch this Thursday night, we have a Twitch stream coming up. Wootenanny presents Goblin Shit. We're playing D&D, kind of D&D. We're playing a version of D&D where a bunch of comics that you know and love are going to be playing goblin characters and just trying to get Christmas ruined. We're going to try and kill Christmas as a bunch of goblins. Matty T's DMing. He's the greatest dungeon master on planet Earth and one of the sweetest boys that ever lived. So right here, twitch.tv/Wootenanny Comedy this Thursday night at 8 p.m. For Goblin Shit. So check that out. Follow us all on Instagram. Follow us all on Twitter. Tell Kevin Cassen that we don't talk too much. But and also thank him for tuning in. Guys, we will be back next week. So thank you all again, and we will see you next Tuesday. Go get yourself some Crafty Kombucha, baby.